The survivors that spoke about their experiences said, I'm a registered Republican, not that politics matters, just want to demonstrate that this is about humanity, not about politics, and now is quadrupling down on the notion that anybody who says otherwise, that it's not a Democratic hoax, that pushes for these files to be released, is enacting an act of hostility against the administration. That was released by a White House representative maybe 2 hours ago, right? So those are the updates for the day. We're going to have to see how this plays out. I mean, at this point, I think it's clear Trump doesn't want these files released. He's now considering anybody that does, right, especially in Congress voting for it, a hostile agent of the administration. And we know that a handful of months ago, he actually went to the FBI and asked them to find, flag, and redact anywhere in the files where his name is mentioned. It's not about politics, it's about humanity. And Donald Trump's response to these survivors is point blank period, inhumane. So we're going to go ahead and hop into the debates. If you want to come up here and have a conversation with me about why you are MAGA, why you support Trump as president, hop in that queue. We'll bring you up. It'll be a good conversation. Keep in mind, we do have some rules for the live stream. If you want to join, you just have to be an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president, and you have to be ready and willing to come up here and have a conversation. So let's go ahead and do that now. We are going to go ahead and load up our first guest right now. Once again, make sure you're following the rules. You got to be an American adult that is pro-Trump. And let's go ahead and do that right now, everybody. Let's go ahead and get that very first guest up of the day. We're loading in all of our guests over on TikTok, by the way. Let's go to get that very first guest, Brent, connected into the stream. Welcome in, Brent. Are you MAGA?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 20.
Okay, what year are you born in?
2004.
2004, what month?
September 14th.
Okay, why does your bio say 22? I mean, I don't care as long as you're an adult.
Oh yeah, that's just because what's it called? 22 was like how many medals I had in a certain game when I used to play it.
Okay, whatever. Take it away. Why do you support Trump?
So I was raised in a I was brought up it's like a certain domination of Christian Episcopal. And I have like two main points that I like to go over, and the two main points are regarding transgenderism and abortion. Those are my two policies.
First and foremost, transgenderism is not a word. Second of all, we cannot talk about trans individuals. The only reason being is that in doing so, we violate TikTok terms of service. It sucks. I wish I could talk to you about your takes on transgender individuals. I wish that I could raise awareness and socially advocate for what I believe in. TikTok doesn't allow me to do it. You start talking about trans individuals, you get your account banned. I get a flag on the stream. Nobody's having fun.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Anyway, so I guess I do like stronger borders, but I don't have like a strong argument against it. I think my main thing is abortion, I guess.
Okay, so you support Trump because you think that abortion should be legislated on at the state level?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that abortion should be federally protected. Okay, the reason being is that I think when you infringe upon somebody's bodily autonomy without good reason, you're violating their human rights. And I think that an abortion ban does exactly that to women, as I think that there's no good reason to justify it.
Yeah, but I feel like, I mean, it's not your human rights. It's their human rights that you're violating.
So you think that that fetus has a right to live? Okay, and does this relate back to your religion?
Sort of, but it's not just like, I don't know, religion's kind of loosely connected. It's not like the main goal. Like,
okay.
It's not like my main reason.
Yeah, because I think if you support pro-life legislation, ultimately rooted within your religion, you have a lot of issues, and most of those issues boil down to the fact that your religion gives no clear distinction between the wrongness of certain sins, unless you're Catholic or Orthodox, right? And you told me that you're not Catholic and you're not Orthodox.
Yeah,
right?
I'm Episcopalian.
So you would fall in alignment with what the scripture says, and the scripture doesn't give us any indication that God thinks it's any more wrong to lie to your child and tell them that Santa Claus exists than it is wrong to get an abortion. In fact, the most we learn about this subject would be from Paul when he tells us that all sins fall short of the glory of God. Of course, outside of blasphemy. Now, because of that, if you want to argue that because of how wrong abortion is, because it's a sin, it should be illegal, wouldn't you also have to argue that because of how wrong lying to your child and telling them that Santa Claus exists is, because that's a sin, it should be illegal too?
Honestly, I get your point there, but I don't really connect. Like, my argument against abortion is mainly over just issues that happen in the real world. I just most of my it's about the my religion mostly connects to like the other policy I mentioned that you said we're not allowed to talk about. My main like abortion argument is like it affects women. It's not just the right to live. It's also just a lot of times worse off for the woman as well.
Okay. So this is the game that you're playing. You think that you as a 20-year-old man know what's best for the 170 million American women and girls in this country. In fact, you know what's better for them and they know what's better for them, right? And I would dare you to go tell this to a woman in her face that you think you know what is best for her body and her future better than she does herself. I don't think you'd like their reaction because of how belligerently incorrect that statement is and the secondary consequences that statement has on the livelihoods of women and girls, right? It is that thought process and which has led to 10 of our states thinking that they know what is best for 9-year-old victims of rape that have now banned abortion, even in circumstances of said sexual abuse.
I feel like, so it's not just like my belief. So basically I follow a lot of these activists that are like pro-life and things like that. And like all of them are part of like big groups. And none of these groups did like, but there's like a California study that suicide rates.
Self-unaliving.
Sorry. Unaliving rates are upwards to like almost twice fold compared to people that gave birth. Like in terms of, I think it was like, I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm just sitting on my bed right now, but I think it's upwards to, they sampled like 160,000 women. I feel like what's it called? Abortion's
wait. I hate to be that guy, but what's the methodology for that study? Because you're saying that they're sampling like 160,000 women. Well, they can't sample individuals that self-unalived because they're dead. So what's the methodology of the study there to determine that if you get an abortion, you're more likely to self-unalive?
I didn't mean they committed. I mean, I think it was like contemplating.
Contemplating self-unalivement?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're saying that women that get abortions are more likely to do that?
Yeah, versus them giving birth.
Okay, and what is the methodology for determining that the reason they would be more disposed towards like depression and contemplation of self-unalivement is because they got an abortion?
I've actually talked to women personally, like there can be trauma like 20, 30 years, even longer than that. Like,
okay, so you're saying that there can be trauma. So first and foremost, you're saying that you've learned this from a woman, okay? Just because you have a uterus doesn't mean that you have a monopoly over how everybody with a uterus would think or respond to stimuli such as an abortion. And second point, well, you said they can have trauma. Okay, so in a circumstance where they're not going to yield trauma from the action, do you think they should be allowed an abortion? And your answer to this question will truly determine if you are just a good, virtuous man that wants to do what is best for women, or what is more likely is you're just using this as a pretty dark cover-up for some underlying reasons why you think women shouldn't be able to access abortion. So answer the question, right? If we know that a woman is not going to experience trauma and is going to be better off now and in the long term if she were to get an abortion compared to giving birth, do you think that she should be allowed access to abortion?
No.
No. Okay. So take this whole argument about how you think that you know what's best for women and girls, crumple it up in a little ball, throw it out the window, because you just proved to us all that it is completely irrelevant to why you think abortion should be banned. They could be at a very high propensity to self-unalive or no propensity at all. They could have very high levels of trauma or actually suffer less because they got the abortion. But in all these scenarios, you still think that they shouldn't be allowed access to the abortion in the first place. So we're going to now ignore that argument as it has been proven irrelevant. One moment. We are now going to ignore that argument as it has now been proven irrelevant to insofar as why you think women and girls should not have access to abortion.
I was just bringing that up because it's just a reason why some still also shouldn't.
Well, it's actually
I'm
not a
looking at
reason.
extreme
It's not a reason why you think abortion should be banned at all, considering that if that reason wasn't present, they weren't at a higher risk of self-unaliving, or they weren't experiencing trauma. You'd still say that they shouldn't be allowed to access abortion. So that is actually not a relevant reason towards why you think it should be banned.
Okay, well, I guess the main reason, I know everyone brings this up, but at the moment of conception, the embryo is it's genetically different from any human ever.
Okay,
And
so it's
I'm
a
more of,
unique
like,
human
extreme
being.
on this. Yeah, I'm more of like an extreme, when I say abortions like should be banned, I mean almost every abortion besides if the mother would be guaranteed to die. That's it.
So you think it should even be banned in circumstances of rape?
Yes. And
What obligation would a victim of rape have to keep the fetus alive? What obligation would the victim of rape have to continue to supply her bodily resources against her will and consent to the fetus?
it's just I believe that it's the classic analogy that I feel like two wrongs don't make a right.
Well,
And
you're not
once that
answering my
human-
question. You're just now, in me asking my question, what obligation would a victim of rape have to continue to supply her bodily resources to keep the fetus alive? You are now just presupposing that the action is wrong by arguing that two wrongs don't make a right. Well, I'm asking you to answer my question, what obligation would exist in order to argue that it's even wrong to begin with, okay? Because like typically, right, we find no issue with denying access to your resources to a non-consenting third party, even if that non-consenting third party would die as a result. I'll give you an analogy, okay? If you made just enough money to buy just enough food to feed yourself, and in the middle of the night for the next 9 months, someone is going to walk in to your house through your front door and take half of your food, and they're going to continue to do this for the next 9 months, and you know that there's around a 5% chance that at some point in the next 9 months, you're going to starve to death because of this, as well as this is going to have significant and drastic impacts on your quality of life by physically starving you, giving you physical trauma, as well as mental pain, anguish, and suffering. Now, to prevent this person from taking your food in the middle of the night, all you got to do is lock your front door. But if you lock your front door and they no longer have access to your resources, they'll die from starvation. Do you think you should be legally compelled to keep your front door unlocked at night?
I'm kind of confused. I thought you meant like if a woman has to carry an essay like child, or you know what I mean.
So this is a conceptual analogy to help demonstrate a point. If my question was confusing, I could ask it again and try to condense it down.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So keep in mind the point that we're testing here is to see if you think that you would have an unwavering obligation to provide your resources to a non-consenting third party without your consent or not. So let's test it. Once again, somebody is going to be breaking into your house for the next 9 months in the middle of the night without your consent and taking half your food so they could eat it and they could survive. Now, the repercussions of this on you are going to be point number one. There's a 5% chance that you're going to starve to death because they're taking half your food in the next 9 months, as well as this is going to have significant impacts on your mental and physical health. All that you have to do to prevent them from taking half your food in the middle of the night is to lock your front door. But if you lock your front door and prevent them from coming in and taking half of your resources, they are now going to starve to death because they no longer have any food. Do you think that it should be legally allowed for you to lock your front door at night and prevent that unconsensual third party from taking half of your food, even if they were to starve to death as a result?
Possibly, but only because that person stealing your food already has made the choice. They're an adult human, female or male, that's choosing that action. So like it's their choice to break in when it's just an innocent baby who can't choose. So
now you're saying that the reason why you think that you shouldn't be obligated to give them your resources without your consent is because they're choosing this. Okay? So there's two ways that we could work around the difference that you've pointed out. The first way to work around the difference that you've pointed out is just to assume that this person that's stealing half of your food in the middle of the night is sleepwalking. I understand that this sounds egregious. I understand that this sounds like it's not super possible, but because it's possible to occur, we could put it into the hypothetical question I'm asking you to see if that changes your response to the question. So if the person taking half of your resources in the middle of the night was sleepwalking, right? They weren't doing it by choice. They weren't doing it with intention. Do you still think that you should be legally allowed to lock your front door at night to prevent them from taking half of your resources?
I mean, if you said that they will die from starvation, but you only have a 5% death, then I feel like, I feel like, I mean, no, man, I'm trying to understand. Sorry, I know I'm stuttering a lot because I'm trying to work through it in my head, but
Work through it in your head, bro. Like, at the end of the day, all that I'm asking you is, do you think you should be legally compelled to allow people to steal from you?
no, but the baby's not stealing from me.
Okay. So now you've said no. Ultimately speaking, if this person that's taking half of your resources to live is sleepwalking and doing it unintentionally, you should still allowed to be able to cut them off even if they die as a result. Well, this is the conceptual. Now, one moment. Now, this is the conceptual takeaway that we apply in the context of abortion. Because all that you told me is that if somebody is taking your resources from you without your consent, regardless if they're doing it intentionally or not, you are ultimately within your moral and legal right to deny them access to further resources, even if they die as a result of said denied access. Let's apply this to a victim of rape getting an abortion. That fetus is growing within their uterus to no fault of themselves in any capacity of the word fault whatsoever. Yet that fetus is taking their resources to live against the will and consent of the great victim. We're now going to apply your takeaway from that analogy I asked you. They are under no obligation to allow that fetus to continue to take their resources against their will and without their consent, and they are both within their moral and legal right to now deny that fetus their resources, regardless if it causes the fetus to die or not as a result. Your answer to my hypothetical just justified great victims accessing abortion.
No, because if you deny them, if you lock your door, right, you're not directly unaliving them versus like an abortion. You say to the doctor, yes, unalive this human, even though they have the right to, they still have potential to be a human once they're out of the womb.
Oh, so what you're telling me is that if it didn't directly unalive them, but rather indirectly unalive them as a second consequence of denial of resources, then you'd be okay with it. Guess what? That's what the abortion pill does. The abortion pill stops the supply of progesterone through the umbilical cord from the mother's body to that of the fetus, indirectly unaliving them as a second order consequence caused by a denial of resources. So do you think that the abortion pill is justified?
No, I think great victims have to have their babies.
But come
born.
on, you just told me. You literally just told me that you think it is okay to stop supplying resources to somebody that's taking them without your consent, even if it kills them as a second order consequence caused by the denial of resources. You just described this concept to me, and that's exactly what the abortion pill does. How come you're contradicting yourself now?
Well, because those resources that you stop them from supplying, you can also eat, but like the resources that the baby's like living off of, you can't access or utilize those resources. So it's the baby's the only one who can actually use those. So cutting it off would not be also hurting you. It's only hurting them.
Okay, so you're saying that pregnancy doesn't hurt great victims?
I mean, the body, obviously, it's put under a lot of stress.
Right, exactly. So in my analogy, the conceptual point of somebody taking half of your resources is just simply going to be some type of negative impact on you or your livelihood, right? You are going to utilize those resources in such a way that would be conducive towards a higher quality of life for yourself because they're taking them. The relevant impact would be a lower quality of life for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Right? Now, the analogy here, as it would relate to a victim of rape, would be, well, the pregnancy in of itself would demand a lower quality of life for themselves, would negatively impact them. Okay? And because it negatively impacts them, it is still yet analogous. Now, what I want you to address, and I want you to be very specific in how you respond to this, is your second to last response to this argument was to suggest the difference between the hypothetical where you said it would be justified and an abortion, which you think is unjustified, is the fact that abortion directly kills the fetus. But if you were to lock your front door at night and deny the burglar your resources, they would only die as a second order consequence of denial of resources. And you said that was the relevant difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, then give me an argument for why you would say that the abortion pill should be legal for rape victims, considering that it's not the direct killing of the fetus, but is rather indirectly killing the fetus by simply cutting off the supply of progesterone through the umbilical cord, starving it to death, just like the burglar in the hypothetical.
I feel like the abortion pill is still it's still kind of directly killing them though.
So if it's
technically-
directly killing them to stop the supply of resources leading to their starvation, then you're directly killing your burglar by locking the front door at night, stopping the supply of resources, killing them.
So if can both just be direct then?
Well, if both are direct, then you're telling me now that you think it is okay to apparently, quote unquote, directly kill somebody if they're taking your resources without your consent, given your response to the original hypothetical, meaning that you now think any and all abortions are justified for a victim of rape.
It's not. I don't think you can take a human life. Like, you can't take an innocent. Like, the burglar's not innocent.
We already
You know
went
what I mean?
over that by positing that they were doing it unintentionally when they were sleepwalking.
But abortion. A lot of people get abortions. The abortion pill only works at a certain time.
It actually
Like, a lot
works
of
up until
abortions aren't
15
done.
weeks. Vast majority of all abortions are done through the pill.
Don't you still have to get the fetus removed?
Once it's dead. That'd be like taking the dead burglar's body to the morgue. And actually, no. I'm sorry. I was wrong. No, your body naturally flushes it out. I'm sorry. I was
Oh,
wrong.
it does. Okay.
Sorry, I had a man moment.
So that's such an interesting analogy, actually.
Well, it's an analogy
But-
that demonstrates how my point here is so clear.
I guess, but the thing is, I guess I still.
The point of this analogy is just to demonstrate that you could say that the life of the fetus is valuable. You could say that the life of the fetus is unique, innocent, and deserving of the right to life. But you could still yet justify a victim of rape getting an abortion in virtue of the fact that there's no way to articulate why they have an obligation to continue to supply their bodily resources to the fetus. Okay? Right? And I'm not like giving you this argument to get like a slam dunk. I'm giving you this argument so you could hopefully take a step in the right direction. I think that pro-lifers who think victims of rape shouldn't be able to access abortion are genuinely evil. And I value pro-lifers that think victims of rape specifically should still be able to access abortion significantly more than pro-lifers that don't. So the purpose of me demonstrating this point to you logically is just to get you to take that jump from a super bad pro-life stance to a still bad but less bad pro-life stance.
You agree that you shouldn't get an abortion 99% of the time.
No,
like the other 99.
I disagree, but I haven't given you my argument for that yet. Because right now, I'm trying to convince you that victims of rape should be able to access abortion. I gave you the argument. Do you concede or do you contest?
I feel like victims of rape should be given, like, there's plenty of resource centers out there. They should be given care and comfort as they have to deliver a human life.
So you
But-
contest the argument, but instead of giving me a counter argument, you're avoiding it and just reaffirming that you think they should be denied access to abortion. My friend, your brain is failing. You've been presented with an argument to demonstrate very clearly and articulately why you are wrong. And after I gave you this argument to demonstrate clearly and articulately why you are wrong, you are not accepting the fact that you are wrong, but you are not arguing against it. You're thinking with your emotions instead of your rational and logical faculties. And I honestly think that's very evil of you. How would you feel if you were a woman? You were great.
It sounds
You
evil,
were
but
impregnated, and then there was 20-year-old men such as yourself, Brent, who said that they should have to suffer in physical, mental pain and agony for the next 9 months and mutilate their body in giving birth, forced and compelled not only by the rapist, but also by the legislation of the state. And when you ask the men that think this why they should be forced and compelled to do all these things, they can't articulate a reason. They just say so because that's how they feel.
I guess my counter to the argument would be like the baby is intentionally like, even though the fetus is eventually conscious, but for some stages, the fetus is intentionally getting the resources
Okay, no,
because it needs to live.
So fetuses possess no intention at any stage at any stage of pregnancy. So point number one, you just categorically cannot possess intent in the lack of with a lack of consciousness, meaning that there is just simply no argument to demonstrate that intent could be present prior to around 20 through 24 weeks. And then even after 20 through 24 weeks, when low level of subjective experiences form, even with low level of subjective experiences, you cannot formulate intent. Right? Like think about non-human animals with low levels of subjective experiences, like mice. Mice can't formulate intent, although they possess some level of subjective experiences. Those are not intentional states of subjective experiences.
I feel like, yeah, I didn't mean intent. I think I meant like need. But I feel like what a main point I also have is like, we don't even give like the grapers, the death penalty. So like, why should we like subject those innocent lives to the death penalty? Like, even though, you know what I mean? Like those grapers might get a couple of years in prison, who knows? But
okay, well, point number one, maybe they need it. Point number two,
I agree.
Point number two, you're now arguing that, well, my argument is invalid because you'd be subjecting the fetus to the death penalty. Wait, I thought that I've already given you my argument to demonstrate that it's just simply enacting upon your right to deny an unconsensual third party access to your bodily resources. All right? Like, for example, in the analogy that I gave you about the person coming into your home in the middle of the night and taking half of your resources, you said you should be allowed to lock your front door at night even if they die as a result. Are you subjecting them to the death penalty?
No, because they're committing a crime.
Oh,
the baby is.
So now the difference is what is legal and illegal?
No.
No? Okay, so then it's not about committing a crime or not. Right? And then I could even use your own logic back on you. Oh, you are subjugating this sleepwalker, taking half of your resources in the middle of the night to the death penalty. Would you subjugate any petty theft to the death penalty? No, therefore you're illogical. But obviously, you're not illogical if you think that you shouldn't be legally compelled to allow somebody to steal your food from you, introducing a potentiality of you dying from starvation as a result. So there you go, your logic fails.
I think that person should receive help. But
Yeah, so now you're saying, well, like idealistically, you would say that this person who is taking your resources should optimally receive resources from somewhere else, but ultimately if they can't, you're doing nothing wrong by denying them your resources even if they die. Okay, right? I mean, I don't care if you say this about the fetuses that are growing in the uteruses of grape victims. You could just say, well, optimally, I wish that fetus could receive the bodily resources they need to stay alive from somewhere else. But because they literally can't, there is nothing wrong with a victim of grape getting an abortion, even if the fetus dies.
I feel like the sleepwalking analogy, it's just like, it's not even like an analogy because it just can never happen. Like it's a faulty analogy because it would never happen.
Well,
like an analogy
so now
should
you're
be possible.
so now you're just being disingenuous because although the physical confines of the analogy, such as a person sleepwalking and taking half of your food in the middle of the night, is unrealistic to assume that it
Except
would
someone
actually
takes your
happen.
food.
What isn't unrealistic to assume that can actually happen is the conceptual takeaway from the analogy. The conceptual takeaway from the analogy happens all the time. Of somebody accessing your resources without your consent and your moral and legal right to deny them those resources, even if they die as a result. That happens all the time. A really good example would be pregnancy for grape victims.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the conceptual analogy is what matters. The conceptual takeaway is what matters. And that conceptual takeaway happens all the time.
But the baby you have in your womb, right? It has no other like choice. Like it has no other choice but to depend on your resources.
You're repeating yourself, Brent.
Whereas the person sleepwalking can go to other places,
No, they can't. It's implied in the
doesn't have to-
hypothetical that they die from starvation as a result, meaning they couldn't go to other places, or else they wouldn't die from starvation as a result.
right, before you kick me, can we just go over real quick about like the main like 99% of abortions?
Why
like your
would I
point?
why would I let you move on from this point? You're in a position where you have been logically and rationally refuted. You have no argument. You have no counter argument, and you have no reason to forcefully subjugate victims of rape to bodily torture and mutilation for 9 months.
I
Yet you
didn't say
think we should
force.
nonetheless.
It's a human life.
Oh, it's a human life. So is a person taking the food from your house in the analogy. Think before you speak, my friend.
But it's a human life that's already developed.
Oh, so now you say what's true. You just think that the life of the fetus inside of the woman's uterus that doesn't have consciousness, that can't possess any subjective experiences, that can't think, feel, or live to any level of independence is significantly more valuable than human lives that are more developed, do have consciousness, and are independent and can think and feel. You just admitted to special plane. You just said that victims of rape have more of an obligation to provide their resources to those around them, given that those around them are unconscious cells growing in their body. But as soon as they're no longer unconscious cells growing in their body, and they're conscious human beings just like you or me with an ability to rationalize the world around them, then they'd no longer have that obligation to provide them their resources even if they die as a result. You're special plane. You're saying that that fetus is more valuable than you.
Because when you're conscious, you can make decisions, but when you're a fetus, you can't. So you have to depend on the people around you.
Okay, once again, we've already went through that. When you say that the fetus has to depend on the mother, you're saying without the mother, the fetus would die. Well, then we just say that the person taking half of your resources in the middle of the night has to depend on you, given if they don't have access to your resources, they'd die.
Oh, if they have to depend on your resources, you should let them indulge themselves on your resources.
But you've already argued that you shouldn't have a legal obligation to allow them to have access to your resources.
Oh, the sleepwalking. Is this in the same analogy that you brought up?
Yeah, we're on that one analogy. We've been talking for 40 minutes now, and you're fucking stun locked. Your one way out of this is to admit that you're wrong, but we know you'll never do that.
So, I actually left a relationship 2 years ago because of an abortion issue, and
Good for her.
that's. What do you mean?
I'm glad she left you.
You don't agree with my take that much?
Yeah.
So you think just because something bad happened, you should commit another bad act? That's my basic.
You're repeating yourself. And now honestly, this is pathetic, Brent. Because you just said, oh, just because something bad happened to rape, that they should commit a bad act of abortion. You understand the argument that I gave you 40 minutes ago, and I've been responding to every single critique, or I guess supposed critique that you've had in the last 40 minutes, has been arguing and demonstrating how it's actually not a bad act, and it's justified in virtue of the fact that the rape victim would have no obligation to keep the fetus alive with their bodily resources. And why I'm calling you pathetic now is because now you've reached the stage where you're just literally assuming it's bad, right? And that last statement you said, just because something bad happened to rape, you think that this justifies a bad thing of abortion, right? Now you're doing the pathetic thing where you're just saying it's bad because it's bad.
I'm not saying it's bad.
And you're treating the immorality of abortion as some base level fundamental assumption.
No, the immorality of abortion, there's plenty of reasons abortion's not right, but I'm not just saying it's bad.
So now you're saying that there's plenty of reasons why I'm wrong because I disagree with you. We haven't heard any of those reasons. It's been 40 minutes. We haven't heard any of those reasons.
We're talking because you were talking about the 0.5% of abortions out, not the 99%.
So are you saying that there's no reasons why those 0.5% of abortions are wrong? So then why do you think those 0.5% of abortions should be illegal? Oh, you just made a massive rhetorical error. You just said,
Okay,
oh, because we're talking about the abortions where there is no reasons why it's wrong.
Because if I bring up that it's a human life, you'll just bring up the analogy again, so I can't say anything.
Okay, so then you admit that you have no reasons, right? Like me bringing up that analogy isn't a bad faith debate tactic. Me bringing up that analogy is just simply demonstrating, even though it's a human life, you still have no obligation to allow them access to your resources.
So do you think I'm pro-birth or pro-life?
Well, I think that you're probably even like anti-birth. I wouldn't even call you
Anti-birth?
I think that you're pro-controlling women.
No, I'm pro giving every human the chance, no matter the circumstances.
Unless it's in the analogy that I gave you that was conceptually related to an instance of a woman getting an abortion and had true 100% logical parallels, forcing you into yielding a particular conclusion. Unless it's in that analogy, right?
I still don't get that analogy, but we can move on.
Wait, you've already affirmed that you do get it, and now you're just asking to move on. Okay, we can move on to my next guest. Let's go to get that next guest loaded into the live. Hop in that queue of you support Trump. We're going to go to get that next guest loaded into the stream right now. I'm telling you guys, there is no argument for why victims of rape should be denied access to abortion. They don't exist. There is not one, but we're going to go to get that next Trump supporter loaded into the live right now, you guys. Take a good look. If you happen to be in that queue, make sure it's because you are an American adult that supports Trump. We are just simply looking for some debates. If you come up here and you're violating the rules, if you're not an American MAGA supporter, I am going to ban you. I'm going to ban you very, very quickly, so don't even try it. But let's go to move on to the next guest. We got Woman George connecting into the stream right now. I'd also like to thank Marcastic and Olivia for the $5 over on Super Chat, as well as Naughty with the $10, saying, I don't know why it's mainly the men, the ones who don't have to worry about getting the abortion, that are always riled up about it. There are bigger problems in the world. I mean, it's just not even a problem at all. I don't think there's any problem with abortion whatsoever. What's up, George? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
How old are you?
30.
Awesome. Let me thank a couple people real quick. First and foremost, Tyler. This was 40 minutes ago, the very first donation of the stream. Tyler with the $25 says, Happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for the love, Tyler. Show some love to Tyler down below in that chat, y'all. As well as Trina, thank you for the $10 on Venmo, saying, I got into debating. You're an inspiration and amazing at what you do. Keep going. Thank you, Trina. Then Bailey with the $15. Thank you so much for the love. As well as I just read your message there, Bailey. I'm going to keep that one to myself, but I'm really sorry that happened to you, and I'm happy that you're out of that now. Thank you so much for the $15, Bailey. As well as Rosh with a 10, Garrett and Caitlin with a 5, Kelly with a 10, and Tierney with a 3. You guys are awesome. Thank you all so much for the love. Go ahead and take it away, George. Why do you support Trump?
Are we allowed to jump off of the past argument, or?
I don't know. 40 minutes of men telling me that victims of rape should be denied access to abortion is probably all I want. All I want for now. So why don't you tell me why you support Trump, unless you also happen to support the 34 count felon, adjudicated rapist, man that fulfills all 14 tenets of fascism, has violated our Constitution 6 times in the last 250 days, simply because you think that 10-year-old victims of rape that get pregnant should be forced to maintain that pregnancy.
I just feel like you need to change the analogy when you're talking about the sleepwalker. I just don't think it tracks for people to follow. Because I think they get stuck on, oh, I think this makes sense, but it actually doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Right? Because if you had...
appreciate you for your insight. Why do you support Trump?
If you had the sleepwalker, right, and he literally had no other access to any other resources, then yeah, I think it should be illegal to say no to that sleepwalker, right? If there was no other option, yes, definitely should be illegal to not allow that person access to your resources.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your thoughts. Now, why do you support Trump?
Do you disagree to that?
Yeah.
Because I think that breaks apart your argument.
Well, it doesn't break apart the argument. It would just call for a new argument for you, since you yield an unintuitive outcome in that hypothetical. However, once again,
how is that unintuitive?
Yeah, because the consequence of that would be is that you should be legally obligated to allow people to steal your resources, even if it might kill you. Right? That's incredibly unintuitive. Right?
Well, no, because that person has no other option. I think you need to give up your resources to let that person have life.
Right. You're just explaining why you're giving an unintuitive conclusion of the idea that you should be legally obligated to give other people your resources.
Do you disagree? If there were no other homes and your home was the only home?
So, my friend, right? Yeah, I do disagree. I don't think that you should be legally obligated to allow other people to steal your resources without your will, against your consent, if it might kill you as a result. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do. But why do you support Trump? I'm not going to tell you that again. Right? I think that 40 minutes of men telling me that, once again, 10-year-olds that were raped and impregnated should be forced to continue pregnancy. 40 minutes of that for the day is enough. So why do you support Trump, Mr. George? Feel free to unmute. Click on your profile picture and click the icon of the mic. George, you have to unmute. George doesn't know how to unmute. George, click on the profile picture right there. Okay. You'll see a screen pop up with an icon of the microphone. Click the icon of the microphone. Okay. George doesn't know how to do it. George, I have like 75-year-old men that have never used this app before figure it out faster than you, my friend. Okay, I'm going to need you to attempt to unmute yourself. I'll be able to send you an invite to unmute in 5 seconds. In fact, I'll show everybody me sending George an invite to unmute. He just simply can't fucking figure it out. Watch this. Boom. Moderator Dean invited George to turn on the microphone. There you go.
I was following your directions, Dean. Don't worry. It just wasn't allowing me to click the unmute.
Okay, so why do you support Trump?
Well, I just feel like the sleepwalker thing you keep.
Okay,
like,
so are you just going to be? Are you going to continue to belligerently disrespect my rules, my friend?
Are you going to interrupt me?
Yes, absolutely. I will absolutely interrupt you, given the fact that I've already asserted that I like your argument insofar as why you support President Trump, and you were refusing to give it to me and stalling, the live and the productive conversations that could unfold in front of over 14,000 people. Have some decency, respect the rules, either give a reason why you support Trump or get sent back to the comment section. Which one will it be, George?
Well, I think the abortion reason is a good way to support Trump.
Okay. All right. So you think that all that you need to support Trump is saying that you support forcing 10-year-old girls to maintain pregnancy. I disagree.
Is that the law that he's trying to pass? Is that that he should allow 10-year-olds to follow through with their grape babies?
So, Donald Trump wants states to have full and complete autonomy to legislate on women and girls' access to abortion in all circumstances, including in circumstances of rape, which has led to the consequence of 10 states banning abortion in all circumstances of rape for people of all ages.
So he's doing that right now then. He's actively trying to make that happen.
Well, he actively tried to make that happen in his first term, and he got it done in his first term by electing 3 Supreme Court justices that inevitably overturned Roe v. Wade.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure that's still ongoing. Like, they're still trying to figure that out.
No. The Dobbs decision, which ultimately...
So 10-year-olds are forced to carry babies to term then, is what you're saying?
Yeah, in 10 of our states.
10 of the states, really?
Yes.
And which states are those?
I know that Georgia's one, Alabama's the other. I don't know if I'd be able to articulate the names of the other 8 states.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I didn't know that.
So do you have any reasons why you support Trump?
No, I just came on here to poke holes in your sleepwalker analogy.
Okay, all right. Well, that's very disrespectful. I mean, you just stalled the live in front of 14,000 people.
Well, technically what you're doing is...
You just stalled the live for 14,000 people in a belligerent disrespect of the rules, right? But of course, that's what we would expect out of people that think that children should be subjugated to bodily mutation. Why would they care about stalling the live in front of over 14,000 people? We're going to move on to the next guest right now. Hop in that queue if you support Trump. Let's get them up here right now. As well as if you guys want to support me, you can find my Venmo in the link tree in my bio. Yeah, what's up? Do you support Trump?
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, are you MAGA?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how old are you?
32.
Great. Real quick before I ask you why, I'd like to thank Addy for the $23 over on PayPal. Sorry, that's Adam. Adam, thank you for the $23 over on PayPal. Adam says, it is my 23rd birthday today, so here's $23. And also, happy belated birthday to yourself. Thank you for supporting trans rights as a trans man. Adam, thank you so much for the love, man. I really appreciate that. Everybody, please show some love to Adam down below, as well as happy birthday, my friend. Happy birthday, Adam. As well as Stacy, thank you so much for the $25 over on Venmo. I really appreciate you for that love, Stacy. Show some love to Stacy. I'm sorry, for the $20 on PayPal. Stacy didn't leave a message, only the love. Let's get 200 Stacy W's. As well as Susan. Thank you so much for the $50 on Venmo. Thank you so much, Susan. Susan with a 50 says, Dean, do they ever understand the concepts of women's rights? Keep it up. Thank you, Susie. Susie, they don't. And thank you so much for the love. Let's get 500 Susan W's down below in that comment section. That is so much money. Thank you so much for your kindness. Shout out to Adam, Susie, and Stacy. Hey, take it away. Why do you support Trump as president?
Yeah, first, Thank you for letting me on the live.
Yeah, of course.
And I just want to ask real quick before we debate, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm having a
Start
great
on
day.
Boston. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think one of my biggest, I don't know how do you say, critique. I really like the idea of cutting the VA and the VHA, for example, under Trump's new Veterans Acts plan. Right now, recently, there is a report under the GAO that over 40% of veteran care is currently being done as a community care, which means it's been privatized for decades, but people didn't really care, or they were too dumb to realize it, and it's too late to stop. And it's only going to grow. So a few reasons why I support Trump with the new act is that some form of community care is needed, and the VHA does not have the capacity to handle millions of veterans across the United States. And with the Mission Act and the PACT Act, which opened up a little bit of eligibility, it sort of stretched the system as it is.
So first and foremost, the PACT Act wasn't a little bit of eligibility. It literally made 1 million ineligible veterans now eligible for service. And what specifically did Donald Trump do that you support? I tried to follow you there. I got a little bit confused. What specifically has Trump done that you support that makes you support him as president?
The HR 740 Veterans Access Act of 2025.
Okay, and what does it do?
It's basically subjugating and privatizing the veterans' healthcare.
So it's privatizing the VA. And how does it privatize the VA?
It's already the VA is already privatized.
Okay, well, if it's already privatized, then it's not privatizing it as it's already privatized. So then what does it do?
Well, you realize what the community care is, right?
I'm not quite sure on what community care is. Feel free to inform me, but once again, I'm just asking you what this bill does that makes you support Trump. And I'm not really too clear on it.
Okay, so community care, for example, if there's like a VA hospital or a
Wait. Just before you tell me what community care does, tell me what this bill is that makes you support Trump. So what's the bill called once again?
It is the HR 740 Veterans Access Act of 2025.
Okay, now what does this do?
It's basically cutting the VA by $600 million.
Oh my God. Okay, so I don't think that we should support cutting VA healthcare benefits by $600 million. Why would that be a good thing to cut veterans' healthcare?
Well, it's because that the VA system is already a mess through things like community care, and the fact that over 40% of veteran care is already being done in community care.
Defunding it more won't make the mess any better. It'll make the mess worse. Okay? So for like the intents and purposes of this debate, we're just going to assume that the VA is a mess. It's fucking over veterans and it's terrible and shitty and deplorable. Do you think that taking a shitty system and then cutting it by $600 million will make it better or even more shitty than it already was?
No, it would make it better as it goes into a more privatized care act.
Wait, but you told me that this doesn't privatize it, it just cuts it.
No, it's cutting $600 million and then funding insurances to become subsidized through veterans care.
Okay, so now it's like funding private insurances?
Correct.
So what private insurances
it's basically taking the VA. So there's a couple things, right?
Well, I don't want to know
Over
a couple
40%.
things. Just tell me what private insurances it's funding for veterans.
Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Where do I see that?
many
Because
different insurances.
I'm looking through the bill right now. I see nothing about funding private insurances such as Cigna or Blue Cross. Nothing about it.
Right, that's what it's going to do.
If it was going to do that, then the bill would say it's going to do that. But I don't see anywhere in here where the bill says it's going to do that.
Let me pull up the bill again.
Where in the bill does it say it's going to take this $600 million that it cut from the VA and then start subsidizing private insurances to be offered to veterans? I don't see it.
Yeah. Give me a second.
While he's doing that, for everyone hanging out with us, make sure that we're double tapping away on that phone screen and sharing out this live with a handful of friends. Y'all already know it, and hop in that queue if you support Trump.
So if you go up to the President Trump's FYI 2019 budget impact on veterans.
Wait, you said
it's through the
29.
veterans
You said
dots.
20. So is budget from 2019? This bill's from 2025.
Right, but it's an ongoing procedure done in separate because he wasn't in. It's an ongoing thing.
But you're the one that told me, I guess, this ongoing continuance of his reallocation of the budget in 2019 is what is now defunding the VA and sending more money to private healthcare insurers. So it would be this bill from 2025, the Veterans Access Act, which would be defunding the VA, which I see, and reallocating that expenditure to subsidizing private health insurance for veterans. And that bill just simply doesn't do it. Also, right, a budget act. Are you telling me the Budget Act is what subsidizes the private health insurers?
Yeah, the VA has proposed to merge the account from which it funds private health
said
care
yes.
with the account to use care for veterans.
So if
yes.
the Budget Act from 2019 is what funded private health insurers to offer services to veterans, well then why would you support cutting the VA by $600 million if that end goal of further funding private health insurance for veterans was already met? Seemingly, if they're already having the private insurers funded and subsidized, cutting the VA is just hurting people and helping no one.
Well, not necessarily, because with the issues that community care have right now, a lot of veterans can't even seek care at the moment because of the waste of the expenditure of what has become the VA.
So you're just saying,
So
well,
right
it's
now,
hard. You're just saying under the VA, it's hard for veterans to seek care. Well, now it's impossible for some to seek care because they defunded it by $600 million. Like, once again, just
Not
taking a system that
necessarily.
you don't think is operating as efficiently as possible isn't going to be made more efficient by cutting its funding by $600 billion per year. Right? You take any bad
Right.
system, you take money away from it, it's going to be worse. A good example of this would be like the Department of Education. You think the DOE is bad? Just look what happens if you were to defund it by a couple $1 billion per year. You think that food stamps are bad? Well, look at what's going to happen if you defund them by a couple $1 billion per year. You think that Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security aren't operating as efficient as possible? Just look at what happens if you were to defund them by $100 billion per year. And now you're just telling me, well, the VA poor, well, let's make it poorer both literally and metaphorically by cutting its funding by $600 million. And by reducing veterans coverage to access under community care. And I'll also have you know that you've already conceded to this because earlier you told me that the PACT Act did some good, right?
Right. So the main problem
Right.
isn't...
Could you just get a yes or no?
What-
Did the PACT Act do some good?
Sure, some.
All the PACT Act did was further fund the VA.
Emphasis on some.
So all the PACT Act did was
Emphasis
just
on
give the
some.
VA more funding. So you're saying that giving the VA more funding does some good. So what would this mean? Taking away from funding
Yeah,
from,
but
the,
it's
from the
very-
VA would do what?
Right. So let me finish. So the main problem isn't the quality.
You're not
of care,
answering
it's
my
actually
question.
I'm trying to answer your question.
No, you're not.
I actually am.
No, because my question was, well, you've already told me that you think funding the VA by $1 billion was good. So if we were to defund the VA by $1 billion, would that be bad?
Yeah, look at your chat. You're not letting me finish. So I'll answer your question. So the main problem isn't the quality of care. It's actually getting appointments through the VA, which is a semblance of time. And the bureaucracy right now is really numbing. In order to get a community care referral is frustrating. And many veterans understand why. So they will never end the community care, and they will never increase the capacity at the same time at the VA. So it's inevitable that it will continue to be privatized. So veteran organizations will need to focus on crafting what would look like, instead of fake fighting to stop it, give veterans the options of leaving the VHA for Medicare, or TRICARE, or allow veterans to receive the ACA tax subsidies while enrolled
Okay.
to privatized insurance policies.
So nowhere in that statement did you answer my question.
Shit, did my headphones cut out? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just nowhere in that statement did you answer my
Oh,
question.
I didn't hear you. If you said anything, my headphones just cut out.
So nowhere in that statement did you answer my
apologies.
question. What is the question that I asked you?
How is that going to help?
No, that's actually not the question that I asked you. So first and foremost, your last statement, all that you said was that VA healthcare is bad and that inevitably it's going to become more privatized. Okay. Regardless if that's true or not, that wasn't an answer.
It's already private.
So regardless if that's true or not, that's not an answer to my question. Because my question was, well, you've already affirmed that regardless of the fact that you think currently the VA is bad, giving the VA more money does good for the VA and does good for veterans. And we yielded that conclusion when you told us that the PACT Act was good, because all the PACT Act did was give the VA more money, right? So you're saying, even though the VA is bad, if we fund it more, it does better. That's the conclusion of your support of the PACT Act. So my question for you was, if we take this bad system and we give it more money, it performs better. Wouldn't that mean if we take this bad system and we give it less money, it'd perform worse?
So that's the issue. We are giving more money to it, but it's not working better.
You already affirmed
If it
that
was
the PACT
working
Act was a good bill, and all the PACT Act did was it gave it more money.
So let me ask you a question. If it's getting better, then why are
No, you're not asking me a question. You're answering the question I tried to ask you 2 minutes ago. Right? Because you told me to let you finish. I let you finish. You didn't answer the question. But I let you finish nonetheless. So then I re-asked you the question. And now you want to ask me a question? This is going to be your last opportunity before I remove you from the live. Answer the question. Somebody in the YouTube chat says it's not what his ChatGPT blurb says, Dean. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this guy just is getting like fucking like stun locked right now because he's reading off of ChatGPT, and anything that would like oppose what he says on ChatGPT is just like something he doesn't know how to handle.
No, I'm not using ChatGPT. I actually work in the medical billing claims department. I've seen veterans' cares get denied through community care thousands of times.
So why do you think the PACT Act was good?
I said it was marginally good at best.
Why do you think
It's
the PACT
not
Act
good.
was marginally good?
To get at least 1 more million veterans on it
And how did it get another million veterans on it?
by increasing some sort of expenditure.
Okay, so at the end of the day, you thought it was good because it increased expenditure.
Right, but at the same time, we're throwing money. So at the same time, if it was good, so here's the thing, Dean. If it was good, right? If we're throwing money at this thing that is good, why are over 40% of veteran affair appointments being done through community care, where people are waiting for months for appointments?
Okay.
If it was
Well,
good,
well,
that
now
number
you're-
should
well, now
drop
you're-
from 40%
well, now
to
you're-
10%.
Well, now you're just equivocating. I didn't say that the PACT Act made VA good. I said that the PACT Act made the VA better.
Okay, so if it was better, then why hasn't that dropped from 40%? Why is over 40% of the VA still being done through community care?
So now you're arguing that the PACT Act didn't make it better. You're the one that told me it did.
I said marginally.
Exactly.
We have 1 more million.
Exactly. Marginally is still numerically better. Dude, what are we doing? Come on, bruh. I'm like using 3rd grade logic here. I'm using 3rd grade logic here. You said the VA
No, I don't-
became numerically better when we gave it more money. Does this mean that the VA would become numerically worse when we give it less money?
No.
So how could it become numerically better if we give it more, but it couldn't become numerically better if we give it worse? Like, think about it. Here's the starting note. Don't interrupt me. No, don't interrupt me. Here's the starting
Well, you
point.
asked me a
No,
question, didn't you?
don't interrupt me. So here's the starting.
you just
No,
asked me
don't
a
interrupt.
question.
This is my last time telling you to not interrupt me, my friend. You do it again, I'm going to remove you from the live stream. So we have a starting point at how good or bad the VA is. Right now, we're going to give the VA a 4 out of 10. And you're telling me when we passed the PACT Act and gave it another $1 billion of funding, it went from a 4 out of 10 to a 5 out of 10. Wow, so
Not
there's a
even a
shift
5,
up by
like
one.
4.1.
Okay, and you interrupted me again. Have a good rest of your day. Let's go and move on to the next Trump supporter. Hop in that queue of your MAGA. We'll happily get you up here. Let's go and see what that next guest has to say. We got Mr. UFC loading into the live. Actually, it doesn't look like they're loading in. We're going to move on to the next guest, Glory. Let's go and get them right now. Hey, Lily, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal. I appreciate you for that love. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much, Louis. Louis, that is incredibly kind. Sorry, not Louis, Lily. As well as Elizabeth with the $5. Thank you so much. And Dana, thank you so much for the $50 over on PayPal. That is DANNA. While we're working on getting this next Trump supporter loaded into the live, show some love to Dana down below in that comment section. Show some love to Dana down below in that comment section, and that is so kind of you. Let's go and get that next guest, B19, loaded up. While we got B19 loaded up, actually, no, they have a British flag in their bio, so we need to go over the rules again. Keep in mind the rules are simple. If you want to join up, you just have to be an American adult that supports Trump. You have to be an American adult that supports Trump. We're going to move on to David. Let's see what Dana said with her $50 donation. Once again, I'm pretty sure it's Dana, actually. Thank you so much. Dana said, thank you for fighting for women's rights over their own body. As somebody who would have died if I didn't have the option to abortion, I appreciate your efforts. You are a true ally. Listen, Dana, here's a way I like to think about it. This should be common sense. And hopefully in advocating for these things on live, I'm able to demonstrate why and convince more people of their perspective, because I agree it is literally so important. As well as Mary, thank you for the $20 on Venmo. Let's get 200 Mary W's down below while we're once again looking for the next Trump supporter. Mary says, I've missed a couple of days and I was going through withdrawal. Great to see and hear from you today. Keep the spotlight on the whore that is the Trump administration. I appreciate you for that love, Mary. And you are right. You are here frequently. I remember you. Thank you so much, Mary. You're awesome. All right, we got that next guest, Nicole, loading in right now. If you want to skip the line and come right up onto the live, go and put a MAGA with your age down below in that comment section. We'll get you loaded in. Right now, it actually doesn't look like there's too many people that want to come up and chat. Pretty rough day to find any Trump supporter that wants to have a chat with me. Very rough day. What's up, Steelers? Do you support Trump? Okay, Steelers is not here. Moving on to the next guest, Nathan. Here we go, guys. Holy shit. Also, I just want to put it out there. If you do want to support me, I would highly recommend you first attempt to support me on Venmo compared to PayPal. Just because my PayPal is still kind of in limbo. I don't know if I'm definitely going to get access back to it. It's just a little bit weird. But anyways, what's up, Nathan? Do you support Trump?
I do support Trump.
Okay, how do you?
I'm not gonna share that information just for my.
What's up, Kimbo? You support Trump?
Absolutely not.
Have a good rest of your day, bro. Please don't join unless you're an American adult that supports Trump. Moving on to the next guest, UPP. Lakshay, thank you for the 10 Canadian dollars over on Super Chat. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much. What's going on? Do you support Trump up?
Yeah.
How old are you?
21.
All right, perfect. Yo, first and foremost, Lola, thank you for the $30 over on Venmo. Lola with the 30 says, love you, Parker. Bro, my name is Dean, but thank you for the love nonetheless. Let's get 300 Lola W's down below in the chat. Thank you so much for your contribution. That's incredibly kind of you. Okay, why do you support Trump?
We need to remove the fucking aliens.
Okay, so you think that you support Trump because of mass deportation. First and foremost, we shouldn't call people aliens. They're already dehumanized enough by the GOP, by Trump, and by
That's
you.
what they are. No, that's what they are.
Okay, what's an alien?
Those people.
Define it. Don't give an example.
Those fucking people coming from Venezuela.
Okay, so you just gave an apparent example of the definition of your term once again. I'm asking you for the definition in of itself. Literally
I
define the
don't
word
care.
alien.
It's irrelevant to me. I don't care.
Okay, well, if the definition of the term of alien is irrelevant, something that you don't know, well, then how could you possibly know that undocumented immigrants are aliens, considering you don't know how to define alien?
See on the freaking news every day. It's terrible for this country.
Name one way that undocumented immigrants hurt this country.
They be raping little kids.
Really? In fact, the only person that I know to have done that or something similar to that would be our president. He was held liable for the violent sexual abuse or rape of E. Jean Carroll, as well as in 2005, he went on Howard Stern's
Dude, you
radio
don't know
show.
what you're talking about. No.
Let me finish. The only person that I know of to have done that or something similar to that would be our president. He was held liable for the violent rape of E. Jean Carroll, as well as in 2005, he boasted about perving on the naked bodies of teens in their dressing rooms at Miss Teen USA. Not to mention, he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. So, yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Oh, okay. So you don't give a fuck about sexual exploitation and human trafficking as long as Trump did it?
I do care, but not for Donald Trump. I don't care.
Okay. All right. So you
get
don't
it?
care about the sexual exploitation of kids?
No, I do. Not for Donald Trump.
So why don't you care if Trump sexually exploits kids?
He's special.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on to the next guest. Let's go to get the Lex loaded into the stream. Hop in that queue of your MAGA. Hey, do you support Trump?
Justice for Brett. You are such a dick. You and Parker are such dicks that you doxed Brett, treated him like shit. He had 1,000 death threats.
Who's Brett?
And why? And why?
Who's Brett?
And why? Brett. Just look him up. Parker doxed him and then apologized.
Wait.
And
Listen.
standing up for his friend Top. Yep, nope. You're a terrible
Tell me about
human being.
it. Tell me about it. Advocate
Tell
for
you
what
about
you
it.
believe
Okay,
in.
so
Who's Brett?
from hearsay, from Brett's mouth,
Who's
you
Brett?
and Parker, right? You and Parker used to be friends with Brett.
Who the fuck is Brett?
And somebody named
Oh, Brett!
named Top.
QB. You mean
Yeah.
QB?
Yeah, I do, absolutely.
Oh, Lex.
Absolutely.
Oh, I feel
you should
bad for
treat
you.
him better, bro. His
Can
mental
I-
health is shit because of you guys.
Can I tell you a couple things about him?
Yeah, let's hear it. Tell me. Please tell me.
I don't even know where to start. Oh, wow. I don't even know where to start, dude.
Just start somewhere.
Okay. So QB, Mr.
Yeah.
Brett,
Yeah.
he wrote a song about how he wanted to grape my sister, grape my
Okay.
mom, come into my house, unalive me, slit my
Was this
Achilles
before,
tendon.
was this before or after you and Parker doxed him and he got 1,000 death threats and swatted 7 times?
Well, first and foremost, even if he was doxxed, that wouldn't mean it'd be okay to threaten to grape my sister. Second of all, the only
No,
person who did
understandable.
any doxing was him when he doxed Parker.
So the story's backwards. I thought for sure Brett had told me that Parker doxed him. He was swatted 7 times. He received over thousands of death threats from you guys as followers, and that's what's going on. That's why I'm coming up here, because I really wanted you and Parker's side of the
Lex.
story,
Lex,
so that I could make a fair decision.
Lex.
Yeah.
Brett is mentally ill.
Yeah, I can obviously tell he's got a little bit of issues, but
Okay.
like,
Right? He's mentally ill. Okay?
so is it true that it all started over him defending you guys' black friend?
No, it started because he's not okay. It started because he's mentally ill.
So no, that couldn't have pushed him to make a song like that without something underlying before that to happen. That wouldn't make sense for him to make a song like that. It's such a hateful thing.
You're trying to think through this like rationally. Okay?
Yeah, for sure.
But sometimes some people with like certain mental illnesses,
Mm-hmm.
they don't work rationally.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like from your perspective, you would say in order to warrant some like extreme reaction from yourself, somebody would
Mm-hmm.
have to do something extreme to you first.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's some of us who just don't think that way because we're experiencing a mental crisis.
So, but my question was what he did he make that song before or after everything happened, is what I'm saying? After the death threats, after the thousands of emails or whatever.
Well, now I'm even trying
You know.
to clarify what you mean by like before or after, like what happened. Mm-hmm. Like
Well, what
were you-
happened is
like,
what I'm saying. What started the whole bullshit between you and Brett and Parker? Other than, like, did he send that song to you?
Mental unwellness. There's no further description. Mental unwellness.
Okay, well.
Right? Like I just like come
I'm
on.
just getting your side. So what you're claiming is that he was mentally unwell and decided to make a song about raping your sister and your family and heinous acts.
He's done a lot more too. He's also talked about
Oh yeah, no,
how
I've
he
seen
wants to-
quite a bit of what goes on with Brett.
you know that he wants to marry a virgin 15-year-old.
No, I did not know that. That's crazy. That's crazy work. Okay, well,
You know that I
Um,
have like 15 open cases with my local police department against him for stalking, harassing,
oh yeah.
death threats, and so on.
So in other words, what you're telling me is that he is taking the side of y'all's side, you and Parker's side of the story, and flipping it to make him the victim.
Yes, actually.
Okay. I mean, that's a rational way to put it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I just always wondered, and I can never make it up on your panel because it's always, fuck Donald Trump shit, you know what I mean? But like, I just was genuinely curious because I wanted to know what the fuck happened. Why does he harbor this much hate in his heart for two people that he has literally probably never even met in his life, physically?
It's because of mental illness, Lex.
Because of mental illness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything
Okay.
else?
No, that was it. And I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go. Let's going to get that next guest connecting right now, everyone. Hop in that queue if you're an American adult that supports Trump. I'd love to bring you up here. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Hi.
Hi, how old are you?
Sorry. I'm 31.
Oh, Alexis, I'm so sorry. You're
I'm-
experiencing a little bit of lag. Alexis, I'm just going to have to remove you because of that lag, but feel free to hop back in that queue and you're not experiencing the lag, and I'll happily bring you back up. But guys, if you happen to be one of the 13.6 thousand people hanging out in here with us for the day, make sure that you are hopping in that queue if you support Trump. And Alexis, you sound like super excited to come up here and debate. Once you have a better connection, hop back in that queue and you'll be the first person up here. Welcome in, Andrew. Do you support Trump?
Fuck you, Dean, you fucking put.
Okay, have a good rest of your day, Andrew. We're going to move on to the next guest right now. Let's go to get that next guest connected. Guys, let's go to get them up here. We're going to get Low Pod family connected right now. Here we go, everyone. I'd also like to quickly thank Megan for the $3 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Megan, and I appreciate your comments there on the abortion argument. Thank you so much, as well as Kelly with the $5 and Gwen with the $5. Thank you guys so much. What's going on? Do you support Trump? Hello? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Moving on to the next guest. If you happen to be one of the 14,000 people hanging out with us in here for the day over on TikTok, make sure they were double tapping. It also looks like Alexis is back in the queue. We'll try to get her back in here. Welcome in. Are you still lagging?
No, I'm at home now. I was in my car. I'm sorry.
Perfect. And you said that you're MAGA?
Yes.
Oh no!
Oh no. Okay.
You shouldn't
yeah,
be
I'm
MAGA.
Probably... No, of course I am.
Oh, why?
Okay, so I have a question. Well, I don't know. Okay, so what do you think about the executive orders that they were all auto-signed by Biden during his administration?
Dude, the only evidence for that is that Trump said it.
Or
That's
Ted
it.
Cruz
Come on. No. I know that you're just like, dude, I've seen it too. I've seen like the weird
statistics.
rantish like Truth Social post from Trump where he's like, yeah, not open. It was all null and void. It was all fake. Dude, literally just one of Trump's weird obsessions and false statements about Biden. Did you know that Trump also said that Biden died in 2020 and was replaced with a robotic clone?
I would totally believe that. That man couldn't make a sentence.
Dude, think about what you just said. Ground yourself in reality. You just said that the last president
let's talk about- I wanna
died
talk
and
about
was
the-
replaced with a robot. Wait, if he was replaced with a robotic clone, why wouldn't
Yeah.
this robot be able to finish a sentence?
You're right. You stumped me. I don't know. I think the robot did better than the actual Biden, but I don't think that's what happened. I know Obama was the one pulling strings. Everybody knows that Biden was incompetent. He could, you saw it firsthand. Let's be real. And they were even signing his documents for him, auto signing his documents. You know that man was not in the room when he was speaking. He couldn't form sentences toward the end of his presidency.
Okay, all right. Yeah, neither can Trump. Yesterday, when he was speaking from the Oval Office, he said that people have gotten their jobs, quote unquote, through woke. How incoherent and delusional is that?
Okay, yeah, that was dumb. I'm not even gonna argue with that. But can I make a reasonable argument with you?
Yeah, no, I would love for you to make a reasonable argument why you support Trump as president.
Okay, yeah, I'm tired of hearing about abortion, debating about abortion. I would like to talk about the education. You said, how does immigration affect education? Didn't you make that statement earlier?
No, I said, how does immigration negatively affect the country? Now, if you want to argue that it negatively affects
No, you're talking about
education.
education. Yeah, I'm a teacher, so I'll talk about the education part. They are allowed in our school system for free, like public schools, everybody gets free education.
Mm-hmm.
They don't bring any resources, crayons, pencils, nothing. We have to provide out of our own pocket to educate these illegal immigrants.
Undocumented immigrants.
that's hearsay. Okay, why did during COVID a lot of them went home back to Mexico?
Wait, wait. Did you say that you're a teacher?
Yes.
Ooh, that's scary. What grade do you teach?
Do you want to be in my class? I'm confused. I do elementary.
Oh, Jesus, Jesus.
But I'm
Alexis. Go
actually
ahead.
not teaching. I'm not teaching this year because I have a baby. But that's like I'm not actively teaching right now. Do you want my school information? I'm confused.
If you give your school information, you'll probably end up being fired from your job. I'm gonna be transparent.
Why?
Because you'll give your school information, your school will get like a bunch of emails and calls about how you were like being insane, calling the children that you teach illegal, speaking down on them.
I'm not speaking down on them.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, if you give your school information, you'll get fired.
I'm not going to give them school information. It's obviously me being sarcastic, but I want to know, how can you defend all of us spending our money on these illegal we'll say they're
immigrants.
Okay, let's say document immigrants. They don't speak a lick of English. How am I supposed to teach? I'm telling you, I had kids in my class that did not speak a lick of English.
Bro,
how
you said that you're wait. You said that you're an elementary school teacher. You fucking teach them English.
You think I could translate, dummy? You think I have I just know Spanish?
You, alongside all other elementary and primary school teachers ever, are teaching English to the students. Come on, you're talking about like first, second, and oh god, Alexis, you can't say that. That is a bad word. It is very derogatory, especially as a teacher. You should know this. God, Alexis, come on. We're gonna move on to the next guest. Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ, Alexis. I'm gonna put you in timeout. That's enough for now. It's enough for now. If you want to come up here, apologize for saying the R word and recognize that it causes harm, I will happily have you back up and we could finish our conversation, but only under that prerequisite. We're gonna move on to the next guest, Mia. Sarah, thank you for the $5. I appreciate you for the love. Show some love to Sarah down below in that chat. Everyone, give us a minute to get that next guest up in here, you guys. We got Mia loaded in. What's up, Mia? Do you support Trump?
Hey, yeah, I just have a quick question. So I'm from the United States. I'm studying in Ireland right now, international politics, actually. And kind of piggybacking off of the last guest, there's a lot of problems in Ireland with immigrants and, education. My host family won't send her children to traditional Irish school because there are a lot of students who don't speak English. And she finds that her children will get left behind because the teachers will focus on, making sure that the people who don't speak English can kind of at least keep up to the bare minimum. And it pulls all the other kids behind. So, what is your take on that?
Okay. So I'm not an educator. Okay. However,
sure.
I am intelligent enough to know that in a country like America, where we have a bunch of different people with different backgrounds that speak different languages, our schooling system will have some solution to either educate students predicated on the language that they speak or teach them another language. This is not exclusive to immigrant or non-immigrant. This is not exclusive towards undocumented or documented. Okay, the fact of the matter is our schooling system must have some type of a solution to teach younger children that speak Spanish, to teach younger children that speak English, to teach younger children that speak most languages. A lot of the people in the chat are spamming ESL. I don't even know what ESL is because I'm not an educator. But the fact of the matter
English is a second language.
But the fact of the matter,
I think.
But the fact of the matter here is that there is some type of solution. And this solution isn't just for immigrants or non-immigrants, documented or undocumented. There are many second and even third generation Americans that grow up speaking Spanish because this is not an English speaking country. There's no official language of the country.
Sure. I guess my bigger question is, how do we move towards that if that's the goal? Just considering we're so far away from that.
I'm not sure on what you're asking, but I'm not sure it's telling me why you support Trump. So why do you support Trump? Okay, it looks like she's leaving. All right. So, she's back. Hi. So why do you support Trump?
No, I'm just curious because I think he's found this middle ground in America that is an unfortunate reality that winning the popular vote is a little crazy, but it is the truth. This is the truth of where America's at. And it's like, how do you bridge that gap between people who feel so differently about each other or about each other's viewpoints?
Okay, keep in mind, the question that I'm asking you is why do you support him as president? Meaning, why do you think he's a good president? And I'm not so sure that answered said question.
Well, he's bridging that gap, I guess. There's enough people in America to vote for him.
So you're saying that you support Trump because he's popular?
Popular? Sure.
Okay. So
I think that being a good president only means surrounding yourself with people who are intelligent enough to feed you good information. Being a politician at the end of the day, I think means being a puppet.
Do you think that Biden was the best president this country's ever had?
No.
Okay,
No.
by outcome of the vote, he is the most popular president this country's ever had.
By what of the vote?
By the outcome of the vote. Nobody's gotten more votes than Biden did in 2020. So if this standard was true, that you're going to support a president the more popular they are, this just means that you'd say that Biden is the best president in American history. But obviously that's not true in accordance with your view. And the reason why we'd say that is just because something is popular doesn't mean that it's true, right? Like for instance, for majority of human history, 90% of people alive thought the earth was flat. Did that mean that the earth was actually flat? No, because what is popular is not what's necessarily true. Right. So what are the more specific reasons why you believe that Donald Trump is a good president? Maybe a more specific question I could ask is what is one thing he's done in the last 200 days that has benefited the average American?
How do you move towards progress without getting everyone on the same page? If we live in a democracy where everything has to be over 50%, theoretically, how do you move towards that without at least adhering to what is popular? And I know.
Well, I'll happily explore your line of thought a little bit further after you could answer my question, which is what is one thing that Trump has done that makes you like him?
Oh God, not hating. I volunteered in Ukraine last summer, which I know might sound blasphemous considering everything, but not hating the handling of that as much as I thought I would, I guess, is probably my baseline. I'm not going to lie and say I love him or anything.
Okay, so you think
that. But
you think that he's better for Russia and Ukraine than Harris? Why?
I think Harris probably would have kept things pretty much the same, and I don't think things were going particularly well then either. I don't think that Ukraine was being supplied enough ammunition. I don't think that
you don't think Ukraine was being given enough? Dude, on day one, Donald Trump stopped all funding to Ukraine.
That's just not accurate, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go look at his meeting with Zelensky, where Zelensky got slightly upset with him because he was saying crazy shit. So then he stopped funding to the country. He stopped humanitarian funding. He stopped military support, and it made the conditions so bad in Ukraine by making them weaker and emboldening the aggressor by emboldening Russia. Right? That it then led to the largest Russian attacks yet on Ukraine. So then on July 11th, he resumed that funding. Right? So I thought this was common sense before the election. The left was toe the line, keep supporting Ukraine. We want Ukraine to win. The right was it's not our fight. It's not our battle. It's not our war.
Sure. I'm gonna hope that you'll let me speak on this, just because I'm assuming you haven't been to Ukraine. Most people have not. Is that correct?
I don't know what you just said, but hey, look this up. U.S. suspends all military aid to Ukraine. This was published by The Guardian, and published by PBS, and published by CNN, and published by the CIS, and published by AP, and published by NPR, and published by CBS on March 3rd. March 3rd
and do you want to
is
talk
when
about
Donald Trump paused all military aid to Ukraine.
Would you I think the public should also probably know when it was resumed.
Well, if you were listening to my statement that I made, you would have heard me say July 11th.
Okay, so it's resumed. That's the whole point. Is that's not a part of the conversation anymore. That's not the reality that we're living in currently. So my whole point is Democrats were only ever giving enough aid to Ukraine for them to hold barriers, this is a credit to the Ukrainian people, to the fact that they were able to take the little they were given and push back and reclaim territory. but they were never given enough to actually kick Russia out of their country or to move into Russia. Like, they were not allowed to go and attack Russia directly, which I don't think is fair, to be honest. I think that if your country is invaded and that if you have a country who is blowing up your biggest cities, your capital, you should absolutely be internationally allowed to retaliate.
Okay, all right. Well, we're going to go ahead and go over a handful of things. So you're telling me that you support Trump because you think that he's better for Ukraine, and a couple critiques of the Democrats is that you thought that the Democrats weren't giving Ukraine enough money. Okay, so I mean, one of like Donald Trump's like larger scandals was the Trump-Ukrainian scandal, where he blocked a mandated $400 million aid package to the country. That's, of course, something that you never talk about, and he did this in 2019 in his first term. Now, when Biden and Harris were president, ultimately the aggressor, Russia, invaded Ukraine, tried to take their land. They then said, hey, we're standing 10 toes behind Ukraine. We're going to give them everything that they need in accordance with the Budapest Memorandum. And then that's when MAGA, that's when Trump, that's when Republicans started speaking out against that, just in virtue of the fact that it was popular amongst the Democrats, so it's something they didn't support. Donald Trump was able to convince and win over Republicans in Congress on this narrative, so that's why we saw less aid compared to more aid. That's why we saw aid packages delayed. It's because the right was pushing back against any funding at all, so we could attribute lower levels of funding in the last 4 years specifically to Trump and his influence on the GOP in Congress. Then, of course, when he was inaugurated, then of course, when he was inaugurated, he then stopped all funding to Ukraine in March, something you said was not true that I've now given you 5 sources for. And then, of course, he inevitably resumed it in July when that led to Russia launching their largest attacks back on Ukraine. Obviously, any pro-Ukrainian rational mind in the circumstance would say the one party that has been consistent with wanting to toe the line and standing 10 toes behind Ukraine for the last 5 years were the Democrats. It is Trump who illegally denied them the $400 million of funding in 2019. It is Trump who pushed for like all Republicans in Congress in the last 4 years to be against funding to Ukraine. And it is Trump who personally cut that funding off in March until he realized that the Democrats were right all along in July.
And I completely understand, you know, the ethos of your platform and everything like that. But I am just curious, like, do you have any interest in pushing back against Democrats at all? Like, I'm not saying you have to be all for either side, but I mean, speaking plainly, it's not Republicans or Democrats are not doing a service to America, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, of course, there's a lot that the Democrats do that I disagree with. However, this is a relevant deflection and pivot away from my response to your argument that your support in Trump because you support Ukraine is misled. I give you a very articulate and well-substantiated argument going all the way back to 2019 to demonstrate that Trump and the right are significantly worse for Ukraine, and you did not respond to a word that I said. So please now respond to a word that I said, to every word that I said, in an argument to demonstrate that Trump, the GOP, MAGA, and Republicans have been consistently worse for Ukraine and better for Russia since 2019, when Donald Trump first illegally blocked a $400 million aid package to the country.
I think there's the only pushback is for me, I didn't start investing my resources in understanding the conflict in Ukraine until 2022 hit. So previous to that, I'm pretty unintellectual about what was going on. But since then, I was like really upset with how Democrats handled it. And I was a little bit hopeful that, you know, I think that Republicans love getting into war, to be honest. And I thought that they would have a little bit more incentive to defend ourselves from Russia. But
I've now successfully proved that wrong. So after all the facts that I've shared in you and more, do you concede the position?
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you have any other reasons why you support Trump?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to move on to the next guest. Hop in that queue if you support Trump. Have a good rest of your day, Mia. And once again, if you're watching and you'd like to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal on the link tree in my bio. I get 100% of all the proceeds shared over on those platforms. However, I will say you should first attempt to support me on Venmo compared to PayPal because my PayPal's kind of in this weird limbo where it might be banned. It might not be banned. Who knows? But anyways, what's up? Do you support Trump, Star Wars Mama? All right, Star Wars Mom is not here, so we're going to move on to the next guest. At this point, we got that next guest connecting right now. I'd also like to quickly thank Jenna. Thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo, Jenna. That is so incredibly kind of on you. Thank you so much for the love. That is so kind. Jenna with a $20 says, as a veteran elementary educator of 23 years, I'm mortified by what I assume a young and experienced teacher with this horrific view of education. Can't imagine having a child in her class. Appreciate you, Dean. Thank you for the love, Jenna, and thank you for your service, not only to our country, but also to our youth. Welcome in. Nathan, you've already been up here. You are a fetus. Nathan, if you rejoin, unfortunately, I'm going to ban you. Let's go to get that next guest up here, as well as Nina. Thank you for the $10 on Super Chat. I appreciate you for the love. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Thank you, Nina. What's up? Do you support Trump, Jalen?
Yes.
Okay, howdy.
27.
All right. And Mr. Jalen, why do you support the man, the myth, the failure, Donald J. Trump?
He's doing so well. Like, even the topics you were just talking to the last guy about, like Ukraine, we now have such a good deal where we make money off that war and are actively negotiating with Putin to end it versus not calling him and throwing hundreds of millions of dollars at the problem.
Okay. Well, I guess we actually are throwing hundreds of millions of dollars at the problem, as you'd put it, because as I told the last guest, we've now resumed military aid to Ukraine. And in response to your first point, where you told us, well, at least now we're talking to Putin compared to not talking to him under the Biden-Harris administration, I think talking to Putin and failing to meet a resolution makes us look worse and weaker on the international stage than not talking to him at all, because we know that more pressure will be required until he's willing to secede the Ukrainian land that he's already taken, right? And that was the strategy of the Biden-Harris administration, was to continue to ramp up their pressure on the country, to continue to support not only domestic but global support, to not only increase domestic but global support for Ukraine. And then once they've gotten Russia in a corner, then to say, hey, here comes the peace talks. But
Who
Trump,
had
on the
the
other hand,
Biden, Kamala, their handlers, who had the strategy? Because it was shit. Within 6 months, we've seen multiple wars end. And really all it took was a Truth Social post, to be honest.
Okay. Well, my friend, what I am not...
We had all of the European leaders in the White House together negotiating with Trump. They couldn't get Biden on the phone, and you would vote for that again. You miss Bidenomics so bad.
What am I not? What I am not is a magic 8-ball.
You sit up here and justify everything they did for 4 years.
I just put you on mute. Now, the reason I put it on mute is clear. I'm not a magic 8-ball. You can't just shake me and expect it.
Like, you're just gaslighting yourself.
Okay.
And it doesn't make sense. But go ahead.
So do you have the decency of a toddler at least?
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to prove it to me by allowing me to finish speaking 1, and then when you get beat, don't pivot 2. I'm not a magic 8-ball. You can't just shake me up and get an immediate response to any clue. Okay,
just keep it simple and non-bullshit.
So there's your first strike, my friend. I'm going to start treating you like I'm going to treat my kid in 10 years when I have one. It's crazy. I know. Got to talk to adults like toddlers. What is the deal with you guys? No impulse control. Sit down, shut up, put the binky in your mouth, or I'll forcefully do it to you by pressing that mute button. Okay?
Have you had enough time to think? Are you ready?
Okay. Well, I mean, now the debate has been put at the side because we have other issues that we got to work out first, such as your immense lack of impulse control. So now that we've got that figured out,
talking about you being interrupted like you're.
Now that we've gotten that figured out, I would rather spend 2 minutes talking about how you're interrupting me to stop the interruptions than spending 45 minutes having a non-productive dialogue with you because of the incessant interruptions. A little bit of pain now for gain later. Now I'm going to go back to my point. I believe it was clear. The first thing that you'd asked of me was, well, you think that the Biden-Harris administration had it wrong all along because they were just throwing money at the issue and not talking to Putin. Okay? Well, I gave you 2 points. The first point I gave you is that now Donald Trump has resumed all funding to Ukraine. He did that on July 11th because he realized it was a smart strategic move to put more international pressure on Russia. Point number 2, I believe that it makes our country look weaker if we're bending the knee to Kremlin propaganda, like the suggestion that we're spending too much money on Ukraine, and then trying to negotiate some type of deal with Putin, failing 5 times over, and then Donald Trump saying he doesn't know what's gone into him, and then also giving him a ride in, the Beast, the presidential limousine, and then walking away from Alaska with absolutely nothing. I'd say that makes us look weaker than applying more international pressure on the country while also building up domestic support for Ukraine and then holding off talks until we have gotten Putin to a point where he's basically forced to accept a peace deal.
Got you. I mean, I can understand why you're disappointed we haven't had the war ended, but there's been progress. They're talking about it every day. Not just this war, multiple wars, and he's been successful on ending multiple other wars. But the point is that I'm making on this Ukraine deal, we now have this, we have an interest in defending Ukraine, and we get paid. So it's like before, we didn't have that same money. It was just money wasted on a war that still wasn't ended after hundreds of billions of funding that was wasted that we don't recoup. Now we recoup it, so it's only a better situation because of Trump, and he's still working on it, and I think he's going to be successful. You should support him being successful versus
that's the difference
talking
between
shit.
me.
That's not
That's the difference between me. That's the difference between me and you, is that you consider it more successful under Trump, even though more innocent Ukrainians are dying than they did under the Biden-Harris administration, since Russia is launching their largest
the war
attacks
started
yet.
because
You
Kamala
consider
offered them to join.
So there you go. So there's
To
another
join NATO.
interruption.
That's why
Jalen, remember how we were working on that impulse control, my friend? I want you to apologize.
I wasn't done.
You literally
war
stopped
started
talking
because-
for 30 seconds.
The worst.
Bad, Jalen. Bad. Okay? Bad. Now I'm going to go back to what I was saying. Thank you. So here's a big difference between me and you. Okay? Right? You think that it is more successful under Trump because even though more innocent Ukrainians are dying than they did under the Biden-Harris administration, because Russia's launched their largest attacks yet, because Ukraine is weaker, because he stopped the funding for 3 months, at least now we're exploiting their vulnerabilities, forcing them to accept a minerals deal, so we're personally profiting. Okay? You think profit is more important than people. I think people is more important than profit.
They're weaker considering everybody just raised their spending to 5% of their GDP on defense, which just doesn't make sense, you know?
Yeah.
He's doing good on Ukraine.
So countries in NATO.
He's doing good on peace. Let's go to another topic. You lose that one.
Wait, if I lose that topic, then why are you the ones shifting the topic?
I mean, you can continue.
Okay, great.
It's really
So
not debatable.
So you just
unless you're just trying to gaslight yourself and your viewers. It's ridiculous.
That in
honestly.
itself
You do
sounds
it
like a
all day.
gaslighting topic.
It's just not understanding how things work. Honestly, that's what it is.
Okay, great.
But it's typical.
So if I don't understand how things work, then tell me why I'm wrong without pivoting. Respond to the last argument I gave you, demonstrating how you prefer profit over people.
More people aren't dying. They started dying because they offered Ukraine to join NATO, which Putin said, if you do that, we'll start a war to take over Ukraine because we think we have the rights to that land anyway.
Do you think that Russia was justified in their invasion?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay, great. And then also, so point number one, I have one really clear reason why Russia wouldn't want Ukraine to join NATO. Do you want to know?
Yeah.
Because they wanted to invade it. We could have protected Ukraine by getting them in NATO, because then if they were in NATO and Russia invaded, Article 5 would have been invoked and they wouldn't have wanted that. So actually, Ukraine joining NATO was like the best fucking move that could have possibly
So
happened.
if Russia wants to take over Mexico, or for example, just something on our border, we're going to let them do that? Or is Russia a similar power to we are, and they're not going to allow that to happen? And warned us.
They've already
that they're
allowed
not
it to
gonna allow that
happen.
And
Latvia,
they did it
Lithuania, and
anyway.
Estonia.
Democrats are just stupid. They think the system can't be broke. They think they can do whatever they want to do, like offer citizenship to millions of people and all the benefits and welfare that comes along
Pivot.
with it, and not break the
Pivot.
system. It's craziness.
Pivot.
So good job, Trump.
I have a question.
And you should say thank you.
I have a question. Who
That
do
we have smart leadership.
I have a question. Who does Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia border?
Do what?
What one country does Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia border?
No idea.
Russia! And did you know all three of those countries joined NATO in the last 25 years?
So they want to expand it further with Ukraine. You think that it's threatening to Russia, and they told us not to continue when we already agreed not to expand more? Like I'm telling you, what started the war.
Wait! You're telling us that we already agreed not to expand more. You're telling us that we already agreed not to expand more. When did we do that?
It's they said they weren't going to spend. When Russia was wanting to join NATO, they allowed those few countries to join without starting a war.
No. When did we agree not to expand more towards Russia?
It's like we kept expanding and they brushed it off each time.
No. Tell me. When did we agree not to expand more towards Russia?
I would have to get off and Google it.
When the Soviet Union was still formed, when NATO was just getting formed, and expanding NATO any more eastward would have literally ingressed onto Russian territory. Wow. Yeah, we made a verbal agreement not to literally ingress onto Russian territory. Wow.
They said don't let Ukraine join NATO. Kamala went out there and said, we're thinking about letting them join NATO. Then they invaded Ukraine like 2 weeks later. It's very simple. Okay. That was their excuse. They wanted an excuse because they're a warring country.
Okay.
And Democrats are stupid and dangerous.
Okay. So you're saying that the Democrats are stupid and dangerous. Kamala Harris started it by going out there and saying that we're thinking about letting Ukraine join NATO. Could you please show me where she said this? I just want to be able to have the resource to show how like based Kamala Harris is for considering allowing them to join NATO. Could you give me a source to demonstrate that's what she said a week before Russia started their invasion?
It was public. She went out to like a conference and said it publicly.
Give me a source. I just want a source.
It was a big enough deal for them to have an excuse to invade Ukraine.
Could you give me a source for your claim, sir?
Justification of it.
Could you give me a source?
Justification of the war, correct?
Where's your source?
That's literally their justification for the war.
Okay, I'm not hearing a source. I want a source that Kamala Harris actually said this. I would love a source to demonstrate how she's so based.
I don't know how it started.
Okay, you're pivoting. What am I asking you? Can you repeat my question?
Not until you answer that.
Why are you so fucking stun-locked? Okay, so let me make this clear. I ask you to provide a source for your claim, and then you weasel away from providing a source from your claim, attempt to ask me a question, and then when I repeat that I want a source for your claim, you just belligerently deny and expect me to answer your new question that you asked after I asked you for your source. No. Hey, Jaden, I'm sorry. We're not third graders. This isn't like, the debate team in elementary school. Okay, we're both adults, and we're trying to have a productive dialogue, little bro. So, little man, little homie, I'm going to have to ask you to provide me a source for your claim that a week before Russia invaded Ukraine, Kamala Harris publicly said that they're thinking about letting Ukraine join NATO. Keep in mind, if Kamala Harris said this would make Kamala Harris based as fuck. Because not only should they thought about letting Ukraine join NATO, they should have let them join NATO. But I'm just curious. I would love to see your source, my friend. Okay, he went on pause. Maybe he's looking for a source. Who knows? Why are the guests so insufferable today? Is that just me, or are you guys like getting that too? They're all just lost in the sauce. Let's go to move on to that next guest. Oh,
because we're mad. They almost ruined the country, and you want to vote for that shit again. It's ridiculous.
Okay, Jaden. What's ridiculous is you saying words and then not substantiating them.
Like, are you mad we're deporting people? Because that's a good thing. Yes, they should do it in a better way, but it is what it is.
Right now, we have over 15,000 people watching this stream, which means there's over 15,000 people watching you play dumb and not provide a source for your claim. We still don't have one.
I'm seeing a bunch of articles. I'm trying to find a good source that you're not going to bullshit around. One second.
Nikki, thank you so much for the galaxy. I appreciate you for that love. That is incredibly kind.
The war that is ongoing is your source. Hello. That's like the leader that started the war and is actively engaged in the war saying that's why it's going on is probably a good fucking source.
Wait, you think that Putin's word of mouth is a good source?
I'm telling you, that's what they justify the war with.
Okay,
they think the West bad. China, Iran, Russia, all these people are doing whatever they want to do to conspire against us, and now they can't because Trump just reordered the all of world trade in just a few months, by the way. And we took in hundreds of billions of dollars with 0.02 month-to-month inflation, 2.7 year over year, after we've taken in all these billions, and he's just doing such a great job. Like, what are you mad at? But I'm still looking. 1 second.
Okay, I didn't listen to any of that because we're gonna go one subject at a time.
You should have. Maybe
so
you should
I just want to clarify that you're telling me your source that Kamala Harris said that she wants Ukraine to join NATO a week before Russia's invasion of Ukraine is Putin's word of mouth. right?
So in February 2022, at a collective conference, she said it's a conversation we have open. It's not the decision of one country to let them join. She said her and the other Europe, or us and the other European countries are considering it, and it's not off the table.
Okay, so February of 2022. she
Literally
said that
2
there's
weeks
open
before he
dialogue.
invaded.
Okay. What's the source? And what was the date?
The source is NATO.international, where they're talking about NATO expansion. So I'm gonna post the link in the comments.
So you just said that
literally what the leader.
you just said .international. International is not a subdomain.
NATO.international. NATO.ntl.
NATO.ntl. It's INT.
But NATO.int. My bad.
Okay, so now where can I find this on their website?
You're not gonna find that. That's a source for just talking about NATO.
Bruh! Oh my god! Holy
it's
shit!
live though. I'm trying to find.
It's like pulling
like the video.
nails with you people. Jesus Christ, Jalen. Dude, Alexa, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Alexa. Alexa says the work that you do is so incredibly important. Watching your live gives me hope. Thank you, Alexa. As well as Katie with the $10 saying cap. Thank you so much, Alexa and Katie. Show some love to Alexa and Katie down below in that chat. As well as Nina. This was a little bit ago, but thank you so much for the $25 on Venmo saying, as a fellow teacher, I'm disgusted by her behavior. That's in reference to the teacher that came up here and said the R word and was calling the kids that she taught illegal. Yeah, that was very disgusting. Let's show some love to Nina down below. Let's get 250 Nina W's, as well as 300 Libby W's, saying my sister's mother-in-law is a kindergarten teacher in Texas and teaches kids basic Spanish phrases. Of course, yeah, of course our public school is going to be teaching individuals different languages predicated on the language that they speak. Yeah, duh. I don't know why that guest didn't know that. As well as Miranda with the $10. Thank you for all of the work that you do. You're my favorite debater. Thank you, debater. Thank you, Miranda. Show some love to all of our donors down below, as well as hey. Alex, thank you for the $10 on PayPal, saying for the MAGA Binkies.
Yeah,
you and
sorry,
Parker
it took
should
so long.
maybe host once a month Q&A for your fans. We actually did that a couple of weeks ago, and we'll do that again soon. Thank you for the love, Alex. You're awesome. Go ahead.
The Munich Security Conference is where she said that. She just basically said they have the right to determine their own future and pursue NATO membership. It's not the right of one country to say that they can join. And I hear you that you're saying they should have been able to join, would have prevented the war, but we don't know what would have happened. That's a big risk to take.
Okay, can I have your source?
I'm not gambling. What? The Munich conference? Just Google the video and listen to what Kamala says. She says a lot of dumb shit.
Oh, wait. So you just said that it's dumb to say that apparently that not one country in NATO doesn't have the right to deny another country entry? That's not dumb. That's accurate.
Ukraine specifically, yeah, because they were a corrupt country before they were invaded. It was just not a good situation.
Okay, so I just want to clarify, even like what you just said that she said wasn't dumb. It was in fact accurate. Like, what did you say that she said?
That they can join Ukraine, maybe. That they can join NATO.
Wait. That's okay. Where in the transcript can I read that?
The gist.
So I have the transcript open. If anyone wants to find this on Google, you could just look up remarks by the vice president in exchange with reporters in Munich, Germany, on February 20th, 2022. Wait, are you telling me that Russia up and planned an invasion in 4 days?
So most world leaders read between the lines, and just smart people do that as well. So when she says that, you see that that's being considered.
Wait. We'll go through
complicated at all.
We'll go through the transcript.
This is why you guys keep wars ongoing forever. And
wait. We'll go. Well, so where in the remarks did she say like anything bad?
Can we move on?
No, because I have all of the remarks open from Kamala Harris right now.
Okay.
You could go find this yourself. Okay, I just type in remarks by the vice president in exchange with reporters in Munich, Germany.
What is that? What website is that on?
So this is on presidency.ucsb.edu. So where on here can I find any remark that was negative that started Russia's invasion of Ukraine?
I'm just telling you how they justify the war.
Okay.
They think West is
once
evil
again,
because we support trans shit and gay shit.
You're doing the thing. You're doing the thing. You're doing the thing. You're doing the thing where you lose on a point like a good little boy because you're so unintelligent and propagandized by the fucking Kremlin that when I give you the literal transcript from everything that Kamala Harris had said in Munich, Germany, and I ask you to specifically point out what she said within that transcript that apparently started Russia's invasion of Ukraine. 4 days later, you're like, well, Dean, I can't do it, but trans people and gay people. Shut the hell up, sit the fuck down, stop being so emotional and irrational, and answer the goddamn question. What specifically can I read inside of this transcript that Kamala Harris said that was wrong and DUMB that very obviously sparked Russia's invasion of Ukraine? Justify your claim, sir. Stop being a weasel. Stop being spineless. Stand behind what you said. Tell me what I can read inside of this transcript that Kamala Harris said that obviously started Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
I don't think that's the only thing that caused and is the obvious reason for the war, but that's a big one.
Okay, so then what can I read in the transcript?
Where she says that Ukraine has the right to determine its own future and pursue NATO membership, and then talking about how they're looking at it with other European countries.
Okay. So you're saying, so where can I find that in the transcript?
It's like word for word what she said. I just chat GPT'd it.
Oh, you just
quotation mark.
You just chat GPT'd it.
Yeah, but we get the concept and the point hasn't changed.
Okay.
But if you can't find something on a little transcript and that's going to like debunk the whole war that's going on, I mean, congrats. You're super confident in that, in you being right.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just look through this real quick. Anything new that you're planning to offer to Ukraine? Ukraine has our support. When he spoke at the meeting, frustration, say that attack is likely to happen on Ukraine.
We also have $1 trillion minerals deal with Ukraine now, and we have it set up to where we fund all the equipment in our companies.
One second, I'm just looking through the transcript. Yeah, I'm reading through the transcript. I just highlighted the word Ukraine, and now I'm looking at everything Kamala Harris said mentioning Ukraine. I just straight up don't see what you said. See, listen, for everybody watching, also Matt, I appreciate you. We're going to move on soon, so I don't know if it's super needed. For everybody watching, here is what is really important, okay? You will have loud mouths. You will have emotional men like this guy that come up here, they'll puff their chests, they'll say shit, but when push comes to shove and they're asked to prove it, they can't. Okay? Right? And that's why I've like hyper drilled in on this one point that he made in passing of his incoherent talking points.
Good thing
right?
Congress
Just to
is aware
demonstrate.
if you're not.
One moment, sir. You've been defeated. Just to demonstrate.
You think so? It's crazy. It's
and
nuts.
truly basis.
Like you live in this reality.
Well, I live in reality. Good self-own. I'm going to give you one last opportunity to point me towards specifically what she said in this transcript that I've given you the source for that started Russia's invasion of Ukraine. One last chance, my friend. One last chance. And he left. And he left. That one felt good. Let's go and get that next Trump supporter loaded up in here. All right. Let's go and get that next guest connected. Here we go. All right. What's up? Do you support Trump?
I do. Yes, sir.
All right, Nick. Have you been up here before?
I have never been up here before, no.
Great, no worries. Denise, thank you for the $20 on Venmo. Denise with the $20 says, thank you for enlightening America. God bless you. Thank you, Denise. That is so kind of you. If you're watching, show some love to Denise down below. Let's get 200 Denise W's, as well as Katie.
Hey, just know if you sit me down on a point, I'll accept it, unlike that weirdo.
Nice. As well as Catherine, thank you for the $5.55 over at Venmo. Show some love to Denise and Catherine down below. And once again, if you want to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio, folks. I get 100% of those proceeds. They go straight to me, as well as I can read off your name, your amount, and any and all attached messages. As well as they greatly support me and support the stream. Hey, take it away, man. Why are you MAGA?
Yeah, thank you. You offer the rose gift the host, not me. All right, anyways, so I've been yanking on my tentacle and my anal beads a lot.
We're going to go and move on to that next guess. We got... What the fuck? We're going to go and get that... What the hell? Hi, do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how... How old are you?
20.
20. Okay, and what year were you born in?
2004.
All right, what month? What month were you born in?
December.
Okay, all right, take it away. Why do you support the worst president of your 20 years of life, Mr. Trump?
Well, he's not the worst president, I want to say that, but he's gotten a bunch of the illegal immigrants out of the country, which I very highly support.
Why would you support something that only hurts our country? I mean, I can't really identify any upsides of mass deportation. I could identify a bunch of downsides. According to the American Immigration Council, it'll reduce our GDP by 1.1 trillion through 1.7 trillion per year, while costing $2 trillion to do over the next 10 years, while also losing out on the $100 billion per year in taxes that they pay.
Okay. And so the reason I say that is I really don't like people coming onto my property and just doing whatever they want on my property. I know that's not every single one of them. I'm not saying it is. Don't put words in my mouth. And I mean, I don't know anyone who would want, I mean, would you want someone, I mean, I could use a place to stay, so could I just come live at your house and just stay at your place?
You just dunked on yourself. No, you shouldn't be able to stay at my place, but should you be allowed to legally cross the border into the country?
Yes, you should if you have the right documents. We got to make sure that
so congratulations. You just told me that you should be legally allowed to cross the border into America, but you shouldn't be allowed to just come into my house and sleep on my couch. That disputes the analogy that you were attempting to make between undocumented immigrants coming into America and undocumented immigrants crashing on my couch.
How does that dispute anything I said? I said if you have documents, you can move into America. Into the United States.
Right, but all that this explains is that the documents are lack thereof.
If I had the title to your house, that would make it my house, right? Therefore, I could go stay on your couch whenever I wanted, right?
No, actually,
Therefore,
no.
I have if
I bought the house. False. You're wrong.
Am I wrong? How am I wrong for that?
Yeah, homeowners hold the titles even if they rent out to an individual that is like renting or leasing the property from them.
I'm not talking about you renting me out. I'm trying to make this simple for you. If you sold your house and I bought it and I held the title, then I could sleep on that couch whenever
you could sleep on the couch of your house, yeah.
Which is, it would be my house at that point, right?
So do you think controlling who comes in and out of your house is like controlling who comes in and out of the country?
Yeah, actually,
so
because
do you think that the country is just like the house of all citizens?
Yeah, basically.
So do you think that homeless people should be able to set up encampments wherever they want on any public roadway, street, etc., meaning that you disagree with the Trump administration taking the homeless people in Washington, D.C., black bagging them, putting them in the backs of vans, then taking them to Lord knows where?
Okay, so why are you changing the subject?
Well, it's just simply demonstrating how seemingly Donald Trump has contradicted your logic here of the country being the house of American citizens.
And how is that?
Yeah, because he's like black bagging homeless people in DC, putting them in vans and taking them to Lord knows where, forcing them to like live in homes. Well, I mean, hey, man, he's violating their property rights over their house because apparently the country is a house of its citizens, including the homeless Americans that were living wherever the hell they want in DC.
So then the homeless Americans, they can live wherever the hell they want. If they, you said on a public street, so if they want to live on a public street, that's totally right for them. They have the whole everything that's their rights to do so.
Oh, well, so, but not according to Trump, because Donald Trump has been like attempting to forcefully move them out of DC. Now he says he's moving on to like Chicago next. So do you think that's wrong of Trump?
Honestly, it is a little wrong of him.
So then why do you support Trump even though he's literally taking people's houses away from them?
Because that's one bad thing that he's done. That's one thing that could be changed differently.
That's like really bad, like forcefully taking people's houses away from them.
And yet I'm still over here suffering from the gas prices. You don't see me complaining about that.
Who's president?
I did once. Huh?
Who's president?
Oh, Trump. But you know what's really funny? It's really hard to make gas prices and everything come down after they've already gone up.
And how did Biden increase the price of gas?
He stopped the ability to drill on American soil.
How much would you like to bet?
Well, I'm not really a betting man because it's against my religion, but...
Well, is it truly a bet if you know you're right?
Well, if it's true, it would not be a bet if I know I'm right, but I'm not completely 100% sure that I'm right. I don't have any sources. I'll admit to that.
Okay, no worries. Well, according to the EIA, which is the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the Biden-Harris administration actually produced the most oil this country has ever in its history. The most oil ever produced by America under Trump's first term was in December of 2019 at 12.9 million barrels of oil per day. From July of 2023 until the end of the Biden-Harris administration, they produced more than 13 million barrels of oil per day.
Then where did that oil go to?
Where did that oil go to? Refineries, but I mean, hopefully that answer is not super relevant as you made the claim that they stopped drilling on American land, and I informed you on the fact that they actually drilled the most on American land out of any presidency ever, including Trump's first term.
Okay, so I was wrong on that. I'll take the bite on that. So then why am I still paying almost $5 a gallon for premium gasoline?
Yeah, because of a reduction in the global supply. A reduction in the global supply. Point number one, we're no longer getting Russian oil because of sanctions imposed on them for their ethnic cleansing of Ukraine. And point number two, before Trump left office in his first term, he asked OPEC to reduce their output by 10%.
So then if we stop giving oil to Ukraine, that would put more oil in the Americans' pockets.
I'm not sure we're giving oil to Ukraine. I think that we're giving money.
I meant Russia. I misspoke.
We're also not giving oil to Russia. We sanctioned us buying their oil. We stopped buying their oil.
Okay, so then I heard you wrong.
Right, and we stopped buying their oil with good reason. We shouldn't be economically supporting a country committing an ethnic cleansing.
No, we should not.
Perfect. I'm glad that we could agree.
Yes. So now, back to my original point of all the illegals.
Undocumented immigrants.
Sorry, I guess I gotta be more PC here.
I think it's just a point of respect. We disrespect them so much. We demonize them. We dehumanize them. We say they come from mental asylums and prisons. We should give them a little bit of their humanity back.
Are they here legally?
No, they're not here legally. They committed a misdemeanor.
So then they're here illegal. So they're here illegally, right?
So do you just think it's like okay to like belligerently dehumanize and villainize individuals that have committed a simple misdemeanor?
Yeah, because if I get a ticket for speeding, anyone can call me a speeder, right? They can be like, oh, this guy speeds.
But if you're found guilty of 34 felonies and held civilly liable for rape in a civil court, you better refer to him as your goddamn president. Ain't that right, Patriot?
I mean, do you refer to him as your president?
He's not my president.
well, then what the fuck are you doing in the United States?
Exactly.
I mean-
You're now demanding that I give a title of respect to a 34 count felon after arguing that we should be able to disrespect, dehumanize, and even demonize those not even found guilty but suspected of committing a simple misdemeanor. Do you see the hypocrisy there?
No, not really. So how would we be demonizing people by calling them what they are? That would be like
No, so the term illegal.
black.
So
You
there's
have to
some.
say a colored
There's
person.
what? What did you just
Right? Can you say? Can you call someone black?
say? Yeah.
Is that demonizing?
No.
Because that's the color of their skin,
but
right?
you can't. So you said
That's a truth about
So you
them.
just said colored. So you can't call black people that. That is incredibly dehumanizing. That was
I can't.
that term of reference was propped up a lot during Jim Crow era segregation, and yeah, that term specifically was used as a tool of dehumanization to literally justify racial segregation and an imbalance of legal and social rights predicated on your race. So you actually can't call black people that.
Well, okay then. I guess you can't speak the truth anymore.
You can't speak the truth anymore. So, dude, so you're defining that word as black people, and then when I'm like, well, using that term in reference of black people would propagate racism, as this term has been historically used to legally and socially oppress black people. You say, oh, well, you can't speak the truth. But when you say you can't speak the truth, it's just simply because you define that word as black people. The same way racists define the N-word as black people. So do you think if I were to ask you to not call black people the N-word, even though you define the N-word as black people, that in accordance with your view, I'd be asking you to not speak the truth? I sent you an invite to unmute.
Sorry. What was your question? Sorry, I was going on, but I forgot your question.
Don't worry, I'll repeat it. So you define that word colored as just black people. And then I explained to you the negative historical connotation behind that word and why you shouldn't use that word to reference black people, as it is incredibly dehumanizing because of how it's been used historically. And then you responded to that by saying, well, so you're just saying I can't speak the truth anymore? And I'm guessing you'd say that because you define that term as black people. Well, racist people define the N-word as black people too, and that's what they call black people, right? But I'd say they shouldn't call black people the N-word because it's incredibly racist and dehumanizing given its historical usage and impact. So would you say that when a racist calls a black person the N-word, they're speaking truth since that's how they define the N-word?
It depends on how you define the N-word, because that could be their truth. But if someone were to have colorless skin, they would just be see-through, right? Therefore, everyone would be a colored person. Everyone.
Okay, we're just going to go to move on to the next guest. Let's go and get that next guest connected. Hop in that QView Sports Trump. We'll get you loaded up. We got Truth About AI connecting right now. Okay. Hey, Kristen, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Christian says, my name is Christian. I voted for Trump in the last election. And because I wasn't very happy with the way the country is going and nothing has changed and I'm still not content, I'm open-minded and would like to be educated. I'm currently on live request and my user is It's Pods. Sure, I'll try to get it around to you, man. Thank you for the $10. As well as, really quickly, Jared with the $10 saying last guess was such a textbook definition of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Absolutely, Jared. Then Jacob with a 5. Thank you so much. Jacob says, thank you for updating the YouTube thumbnail. Been wanting that for a while. Yeah, we finally got an update. As well as Marlene. Thank you for the $25 over on PayPal. Marlene, that is incredibly kind of you. While we're working on getting that next Trump supporter loaded into the queue, show some love to Marlene down below in that comment section. Now let's go to get that next MAGA supporter loaded in. Thank you so much for the love, Marlene. We got Cayman, Texas connecting right now. As well as holy shit, yo, Jay, thank you so much for the $100 donation on PayPal. Jay, that is so incredibly kind of you. For the 13,000 people hanging out with us on TikTok, please show some love to Jay down below in that comment section for the $100. That is so kind. Jay says, I was born and raised in Chicago and learned that Trump has ordered the National Guard into the city. While this is an illegal act, the NG nevertheless obliged to obey such an order, even in the face of its illegality. Thanks, Dean. Well, so if like the governing powers over Chicago allow it, then it's not illegal. Unfortunately. But thank you so much for the love, Jay. Show some love to Jay down below in that comment section. Let's get 1,000 JWs. That is so very kind of you. Welcome in, Cayman. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Right. Take it away. Tell us why.
All right. Well, one, I wanted to go off of what you just said to that last guy. What was his name? Bubbles or Bubba's? Something like that. So, one, I'm a person of color. I am colored. That is not a... Your argument was that because it was used negatively in the past, that it's you can't use that. No one can use that. Explain that to me, because if someone called me, ugly, is that just a bad word? No one can use that? Because down here in Texas, man, look, I used to say, man, that was just an ugly thing to say.
I'll let my friend
There's
up real
different
quick.
meanings to different words, right?
I'll let my friend up real quick. Allow me a moment.
You'll need to.
Hi, welcome in, JD.
Hello. How are we today?
I'm doing all right. Do you have anything that you'd
What's
like
up,
to add on
JD?
to the subject? Why it's wrong to use terms such as the N-word or colored, etc., in reference of black individuals, as a white individual?
So correct me if I'm wrong. Did I hear that this guest himself is black?
Yes, I am black and white.
How old are you?
I am 20 years old.
So you're mixed.
Yes, I am mixed.
Are you referred to by that in everyday conversations, just in general?
I'm referred to as human. No one really, looks at my skin.
Well, they do if they're calling
When
you
you go
colored.
and meet
Right?
somebody, the first thing you notice should not be their skin.
Well, if they're calling you colored, then very clearly that's kind of antithetical to that, right?
I've been called colored about maybe twice in my entire life. One, it's just not a common thing to say. But I do think, but every time it was when talking in a group, as in hey, this group over here, you see what I'm saying?
No.
It's a category. It's a category. Everybody used to call black people African Americans, but then
Well, we still
not
do.
everyone's African American, right? So that was wrong.
It
Correct?
wasn't wrong, no.
It was
it's
inaccurate.
about a greater diaspora of people that come from the African nations, but it was widely used during the Jim Crow era to refer to black people or other non-white groups in a way that reinforced racial hierarchies and dehumanization. It is still an outdated term, it's reductive, and it implies that race is a defining characteristic as opposed to the acknowledgement of individual identity and diversity.
So do you think black people can say the N-word?
How the hell did we get on that topic?
No, it's the same thing, right? It was used to.
How is that the same?
Right?
I think groups using terms so as to soften the intensity of it is not nearly as bad as the root origins of that.
I'm going to go use the
typical
restroom real quick.
usages of it.
I'll be right back. Jaden,
Sure.
keep cooking.
No problem.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to acknowledge what I said about the whole colored remark, then we can have that N-word discussion, but
I mean, we disagree on that.
why do you disagree?
You say
Make
it's
an argument.
outdated.
Listen, young man, render an argument.
My argument. Look, you got to go with me on this, man.
No, I
Because you
don't.
said-
Was that my argument? Just go with me.
I
I
don't even know
explained
where you
in
came
pretty
from.
concise
Look,
ways
Let me just point
as
this
to
out,
why
because
it's
I don't know where you
reductive
came
and
from.
outdated.
He couldn't speak on this, but he already did. But now that I brought it back up to as a person of color, he had to bring you into it. See what
Because
I'm
I'm
saying?
black.
Yeah, same here, man.
Okay, and I'm explaining to you, you have not offered any kind of counter argument. Just go.
Yeah,
with
I
it.
have.
No, you haven't.
My argument is that colored is not a disrespectful way. It's not a disrespectful word. It's not a discriminatory word.
Now, I explain why it is because it historically has been used for racial hierarchies and discrimination. Surely you've seen the colored-only signs of water fountains and pools and parks, and has been used and tied to systemic oppression. and segregation of families. Okay, that is the historic backdrop of that word. It is
and so
still
then the
dehumanizing because it's outdated, reductive, and reduces you down to your defining characteristic being
And
just
so
the
if
color
you
of your
allow
skin.
me to, I can prove that it's not.
Oh, you can prove. Okay,
yeah,
listen.
okay, so
let's hear the defining argument from a 20-year-old mixed race child on
now
why
let
this
me-
is not racist.
Excuse me, are you trying to say that I'm not black?
I'm trying to say that you're not intelligent, but you can go ahead.
Okay, internal intelligence, good job. So let me ask you this again, like I tried to say this. Can black people say the N-word? It's a simple
What was
yes
my
or no.
answer to that?
It's a
What
simple
was my
yes or no.
answer?
You didn't
What
answer.
was my? I
You
did
said if
answer
you can-
that.
you
I
said
did
if you
answer
can
that
answer the
just in
first one,
terms
but
that
I'm
you
trying.
probably couldn't understand.
Try me.
Try what? I answered you. What was my answer the first time?
You didn't answer. You said you
What
haven't
did I
given
say?
me
I
the answer
said
to the
words.
first one.
I did say words. You
And
didn't
I'm saying
retain
them
them.
right back to you, man. Look,
No,
if
you're not.
Your words.
What was my answer
your
the first
words
time,
to
man?
me, which were
All
not
right,
an
since
answer.
we're wasting time, I'll answer you again.
Go ahead.
There is not the same level of intensity when it comes to black people using that term. Same that goes for women that would use terms that were typically used as sexist, okay? Or gay people using terms that are typically seen as homophobic. Now, there can be some degree of datedness to that, but I think people using terms against them and putting them in a context that is less severe today holds not the same degree of force and power as it did back then.
I'm sorry, your last part cut out.
Did I?
I heard the degree. I heard to the same degree, and then what was the last part?
Okay, it doesn't hold the same weight because it's not used in forms of discrimination.
Okay, so
Go ahead, Dean.
what part of that? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
I just wanted to wrap this back around to, the original conversation. I think I could give you a very compelling argument here. And it's very simple, too. Okay? Can we agree that it's wrong for a white person to refer to black individuals as N-words? Like, if a white person was like, oh, like, look at those N-words over there in reference to a group of black people. Can we agree that's wrong?
Yeah, I believe that's wrong. Absolutely.
Can we agree
that's not my argument?
Can we agree that, like, the way that we had explained why that's wrong is because how the N-word was used over the course of the last 300-400 years to propagate systems of oppression and dehumanization and genocide.
That's the exact
of
reason
people?
black people shouldn't use it either.
Well, I want to stick specifically on white individuals using these
what
terms.
you don't want
and
is
and if you
solutions.
want to make an argument about like black individuals using these terms or not, feel free to make that argument to Jaden. Right? I'm more concerned with the last guest using that term, who was white, because that's who you came up here and objectionable comments towards. So once
Correct.
again, my very simple argument is the reason it was wrong for him to use that term was because in a similar category to that of the N-word, all right, this term has also been used to prop up the systemic oppression of black people, as Jaden pointed out, during Jim Crow era segregation. I find there to be a very simple and easy to understand mental connection here. The reasons why the N-word is wrong to you, in a similar sense, can also apply to this term.
And again, I do not believe that it was wrong.
So why not?
Because one, it is used. It's a describing word. I am do you believe? Look, if you're black, are you a person of color?
Notice that word person comes first. That you humanize me first as opposed to
Absolutely.
boiling down my identity to the color of my skin.
Absolutely.
And the phrase like person of color, right, wasn't like the tagline that was touted during Jim Crow law era segregation in order to justify the racial segregation of black individuals from most public
No, it
businesses.
was usually just the N-word.
Right, the N-word or like the term colored, as we've already gone over.
But which one was used more often?
They were both used.
Which one was used more often is my question.
Specifically an index to like Jim Crow era segregation, I don't know if I'd be able to say one or the other was used more often, as if you go look at any like old signs in front of like water fountains, bathrooms, or businesses, It'd
Yes,
say
legally
whites
they had to use
only
colored.
or colored only, right?
Because
And
of the laws that
these
took
are the
place,
reasons
yeah.
why I think it is wrong for like a white person to refer to black individuals using that term. I just think because of the way that it was used during segregation, it shouldn't be used today.
Yes, I mean, hey, man, you're entitled to your opinion, but also if you're going to do that, then the term Negro is wrong too.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Are you serious? Dude, you as a black person have got to be like,
My guy, what do you got to say about me?
What?
I've lived 26 years on this planet, black. All right, I think I know a little bit more than you.
6 more years than me. Congratulations,
Yes,
man.
yes,
You're a lifetime
yes,
ahead of
and
me.
I don't have a white parent. Okay, I can tell
neither-
you. Excuse me. I can tell you the
Excuse me,
historic
yes.
connotation behind that, and why it is woefully offensive. Why it is dangerously offensive to be using that, and especially dated in today's context.
I can give
Reason
you
as
one
to
why
why.
it's not.
Listen, reason as to why black people use the N-word today. It's called a reclamation, okay? And what we do it, and why we do it, is to strip it of the original harmful, malicious intentions and repurpose it into a word of more solidarity. I personally don't use it. I don't give a shit for it, but that's why people use it. Doesn't hold nearly the same degree as when people say the N-word with the hard R, or the one you just used, or et cetera, colored.
The one I
That's
just used,
not
let me
in
ask you
today's
this.
context. That's
Let
not
me
in
ask
today's
you this.
dialogue.
As a black man, let me ask you this.
So-
What is a Negro spiritual?
What?
What is a Negro spiritual?
A song.
What kind of song?
A religious
What is a
song.
Negro spiritual?
Is a religious song typically sung by slaves
Is that wrong?
or originated
Is
by
it-
slaves.
Is that not so? A Negro spiritual is a
It's a hymn. They're slave songs. Now you have to look it up. I gave you the correct answer right off the bat.
Like, I just don't understand, like, why he's contesting this. Like, this falls into the same category, why it's wrong to call gay people the F slur, why it's wrong to call, like, people with mental disabilities the R word, why it's wrong to call black people the N word. Like, these terms just fall under that same broader category of words that were used to prop up oppression and mistreatment predicated on some immutable characteristic of your being that we shouldn't use. Like, I don't understand why you're so outraged by this concept. It's just so simple to me. I don't get the disconnect in your brain.
I think there's some internalized bias right there. Certainly for the fact that he's young and the fact that in some point, very clearly, this conversation was not had with him.
Yeah, I gotta kick him. He just got a hate speech
Okay.
flag.
Oh, wonderful.
I should have seen that one coming on.
No, me too.
On. Oh, well. Well, Jaden, man, I appreciate you for joining up and trying to have that conversation with him.
Oh, yes, of course. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your day, man.
Thank you. You too. Happy belated birthday.
Man, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, bro.
Thanks. Take care.
Yeah, if you want to follow Jaden, you can find him on TikTok at Mr. Jaden Libran. Libran. We're going to go to get that next Trump supporter connected into the live stream right now. We're going to go to get Kelsey up here. There's a couple people I'd like to thank. First and foremost, Sandra. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Sandra says, I'm a 69-year-old lefty democratic socialist and love what you are doing. One favor, say belligerent instead of obelligerent. Peace, my friend. I think I've been corrected on that before, that belligerent isn't like a real word, and that the real word would be belligerent. So I appreciate you on that correction. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Seriously, Sandra, thank you for the $50. Let's get 50 Sandra W's down below. As well as Spiral, thank you for the $10. God damn. Spiral, thank you for the $10. But show some love. Show some love to Sandra and Spiral down below. That is incredibly kind of you. We're going to go to get that next Trump supporter up here right now, folks. We're going to go to get that next Trump supporter up in here right now, everybody. We got Mr. Ball 3 loading in. Make sure that we're only in that queue if we support Trump. I'd also like to thank Libby for the $10 on Venmo, saying I think all the Trump supporters today have drowned in this swamp. So real, Libby. Heidi with the $10 on Venmo, saying, Dean, I wish I could send more. You deserve so much love and appreciation. You keep your composure stellar. Thank you for your intelligence and love your content, Heidi Sue. Heidi Sue, thank you for the $10. I just appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much for your contribution. As well as Esther, thank you for the $10 as well. And what's going on, Mr. Ball 3? Are you MAGA? No, he's not here. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wayne. Thank you so much for the donation, my friend. I've talked to you before in one of your messages. And I remember you specifically requested me to not share the dollar amount. And I know that, or I guess I'm lost for words. What I should say is that if that has changed, please let me know. And I will do that per your request. However, in accordance with your last request, I'll keep it to myself. Wayne, thank you. That is so incredibly kind of you. And I do truly appreciate you for your love. I'm trying really hard to keep my composure here. Because I know that you like me to keep it a little bit more chill. I had Wayne tell me to keep it a little more chill. That's so Wayne, I really appreciate you for your support. And as I've told you in the past, man, it means the world to me. It really does. You are a very kind, good-hearted soul that has worked obviously very hard throughout your life to get to wherever you're at now. And the kindness that you've continued to show to me, including today, is just truly out fucking standing. Like I'm just like looking at this donation now, looking back on the love that you've shown me before. I could say it very genuinely and honestly, it's something that I do not deserve. If everybody watching can please show some love to Wayne. Bruce Wayne, may I add. While we're moving on to that next guest, that'd be awesome. Let's just get infinite W's for Wayne. Let's let Wayne know how goddamn appreciated he is. And I really hope that Wayne is still here. He's a cool guy too. Wayne's a really cool guy. He's given me a little bit of constructive criticism on like a couple things. He like genuinely wants to see like these like the streams be as like productive as possible for like changing more minds, and he thinks like what we do here is valuable and important. And I just really appreciate you, Wayne. Show some love to Wayne down below in that chat. We're gonna go and get back onto the debates, but W Waynes in that chat. While we're moving on to the next guest, W Waynes. Now hop in that queue if you support Trump. I'll get you loaded up here. Wayne, you already know. I'm gonna have to privately reach out to you later. I want to thank you personally. Seriously. I I'm gonna personally thank you once again later. But let's go and get that next guest up here for now. We're gonna go to get that next guest connected into the stream right now. Okay. All right. It doesn't look like Lex is loading in, so we're going to move on to the next guest right now. Let's go to get our next guest, Kai, connected. Hop in that queue if you support Trump. We'll happily get you loaded up. Here we go, guys. We'll happily get you loaded up. Hey, what's up? Do you support Trump? Okay. All right. Goodbye. Moving on to the next guest. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next guest right now because Lex wasn't here. Hop in that queue if and only if you are a Trump supporter. Hop in that queue if and only if you are a Trump supporter. All right. What's up? Do you support Trump? Hello?
I am so sorry I pressed this by accident. I was just...
No worries at all. Have a good rest of your day. We're going to move on to the next guest right now. Hop in that queue if you support Trump. We'll happily get you pulled up here, but please only hop in that queue given that you are indeed a Trump supporter. Please only hop in that queue given that you are a Trump supporter. Don't stop. Don't stop the W Waynes either. Don't stop the W Waynes either. What's up? Do you support Trump? Okay. All right. Leanna's not here. You know what? If you want to skip the line, because right now, honestly, I think that the queue's full of like a lot of bots. Go ahead and put a MAGA with your age down below in that chat. I'll just get you pulled up here. Go ahead and put a MAGA with your age down below. I'll happily get you pulled up here. What's up? Are you MAGA? Okay. All right. Moving on to the next guest. We're going to go and see what that next guest has to say. We're going to get Joy loaded into the stream. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Hi, Dean.
Hi.
Yes.
You do? Okay. How old are you?
No. Okay. Well, listen, Dean. Don't kick me. I want to tell you something. I think you'll be very proud of your community. That lady who got up here earlier, and she said the thing she said about the immigrant children.
Yeah.
When I tell you, Dean, all of her accounts are gone. They found her in under 3 minutes. So I just want to tell you, I don't support Trump. I almost threw up in my mouth saying that. But I did want to tell you that. I'm like, I have to tell Dean because you have like the strongest community I've ever seen. Like, that is crazy. I was a part of it, but I was like, there's no way.
Here's what I'll say. I think that a lot of the people watching the stream, I'm going to be honest. I'll say some people watching the stream can kind of cross a line sometimes when it comes to putting comments and DMs to guests. And, you know, for the most part, I truly do like condemn the pitchforks following the guests around. But at the same time, you know, there's a line. I'd say that a lot of the times people could cross the line. But I think it's very realistic to assume that there's maybe some pushback that guest received that wasn't crossing that line. Because we need to remember who she was, what she did, and what she said. Like, she was an elementary teacher that apparently teaches in an area where some of the children are undocumented. She was calling them illegal. She was referring to them as the R word. I'm sure if I didn't kick her sooner, she would have went on and on and on and on and on. And, you know, regardless if you like it or not, there are just truly some things that are unacceptable for, you know, those teaching our youth to be doing and saying. And there is really good reasons why a lot of jobs uphold some level of professionalism for their employees in and out of the workplace. But hey, Joy, I appreciate you so much for coming up and telling me that. Of course.
Enjoy your stream. I'm still here all day.
You have a good rest of your day, Joy. Let's go and get that next guest up in here, you guys. Hop in that queue if you support Trump. So I just want to repeat. I think it is important that we're not like belligerently like harassing and sending DMs to guests and stuff. I do condemn that. But I will say that guest was really bad. What's up? Do you support Trump? Okay, no, they're not here. Moving on to the next guest. Once again, you guys, we have 47 guest requests, and I'm really unsure if there's any like specific person in the queue that's actually Trump. Seems like most people aren't. So please go and put a MAGA with your age down below in that chat. Put a Trump with your age down below in that chat if you'd like to join. As well as Amir, thank you for the $50 super chat. Amir with the $50 says you are giving people hope. You also have a working business model. Don't stop doing what you're doing, please. Also, top 3 albums of all time and thoughts on if the White House is covering up something beyond Trump's health. Give me all the W's. Show some love to Amir down below. Let's get 500 Amir W's. Top 3 albums of all time. I'm going to have to give one of those positions to the first album released by Backseat Lovers. Consistently one of the best. I'd have to give another one of those positions. I think it was Backcountry New Road. I forget the name of their album. I think it was Ants from Up There. That's like my second favorite album of all time by Backcountry New Road. It's called Ants from Up There. That's great. Then for the third album of all time, I'd probably give it to one of Mac Miller's. I'd have to think a little bit more for that third best album of all time. It might be one of Mac's. I gotta say, Mac was a legend of the time. But it's Pods. Thank you for the galaxy. We're gonna go to get that next guest up in here. Hop in that queue if you support Trump. We'll get you pulled up. Only up in that queue if you are actually a Trump supporter. Somebody in the chat says Pink Floyd. That was definitely one of the considerations. That's definitely one of the considerations. That one's like very, Pink Floyd was like very culturally important, if that makes any sense. What's up? Do you support Trump? Sean? Okay, Sean's not here. Guys, we have 12,000 people hanging out with us in the stream right now. Why can I not find literally one person to come up here and to have a debate with me about why they support Trump? Keep in mind that we are looking for American adults that are MAGA that are down to debate. What's up? Are you MAGA?
Hey, Dean. Yeah.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay, and what year were you born in?
2006.
Okay, and why do you support Trump?
I like to enforce the law, so I want to get everyone who's not here out of here.
Who's not here out of here? Well, you can't get them out.
I want to
you can't get them out of here if they're not here.
I want to get everyone who doesn't belong here out of here.
So you support mass deportation. Well, let's start off a little bit more conceptually. Do you think that there is an obligation of the state to draft and enforce legislation that makes the country better? And if there's a law in the books, if there's legislation on the books that doesn't make your country better, but rather makes it worse, another obligation of the state would be to either get rid of it or revise and replace it with something better.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I'm sorry. I was trying to listen to you.
Do you think the state has an obligation to only draft and enforce laws on the books that make the country better? And if there is a law on the books that makes the country worse, the state would have an obligation to either get rid of it or revise it so it makes the country better.
Mm-hmm.
That's my feelings on mass deportation. I understand mass deportation is a law in the books, the punishment for undocumented entry. I think that we have an obligation to get rid of that and replace it with something better, given that mass deportation is so harmful to our country.
Mm-hmm. So what's something better, you think, rather than just deport?
Yeah, mass amnesty. I think that mass amnesty for vast majority of undocumented immigrants would be a significantly better solution.
That's why.
Why? Because of the positive social and economic impacts, outcomes it would yield.
Okay, well, I support Trump because if he believes the mass deportations for the best and for the economy, why would I not listen to my president? If he,
well, I mean, he also believes that Biden was replaced with a robotic clone in 2021, and that windmills cause cancer, and that coal is clean.
Well, that's a baseless claim. Just like he was called a rapist. Like,
what was baseless there? No, he literally reposted an article on Truth Social like 2 months ago saying that Biden was replaced with a robotic clone.
Probably for a joke.
Oh, exactly. When he says something that's like so insane, you just assume he's trolling. I swear to God.
Yeah. I just mean the deportation's a bigger issue. He would never joke about that, you know.
So do you think Trump is always right?
Yes.
You're trolling. Leave.
Well, no.
Leave.
You have to
leave.
Why, bro?
I'm shaming you. I'm publicly shaming you into leaving.
Okay, you have to. Not everyone's always right. But.
Yeah. Okay. So Trump's. So then, how do you know he's not wrong when he says that mass deportation is good? Because like when we evaluate the impacts that are studied by places like the American Immigration Council, we see it's bad. The American Immigration Council tells us that if we were to remove all the undocumented immigrants tomorrow, our GDP would fall by 1.1 trillion through 1.7 trillion per year.
See, just because we're experiencing, it's like someone like just because we're experiencing something positive does not mean that it's right. Like they correlate, but that doesn't always mean.
Well, the correlation that we've already described is that our government has an obligation to enforce policy that's good and an obligation to get rid of policy that's bad. I'm giving you an argument to demonstrate that mass deportation is bad via its terrible economic outcomes and more. But we could get into those later, meaning that our state would have an obligation to get rid of it. Refuting your position that you support Trump because you want him to enforce the law in the books, which is mass deportation. The only
Yeah.
way you can argue from here is to give me an argument that I'm wrong when I say that it's bad, when I'm wrong when I say it hurts this country, and to attempt to position it as something that is good that helps the country.
Mass deportation does not help the country.
Right, it hurts it. Right, so then
Wait.
why do you support Donald Trump doing something that hurts the country?
No, I meant like your take is wrong. Like,
Mass amnesty?
yes,
Oh, okay. Why?
because many immigrants. Okay, right. There's a lot of low wage jobs. Okay, and a lot of these employers are exploiting immigrants.
Yeah, they are. Do you know why
And so-
they have an easier time exploiting undocumented
Yes,
immigrants?
because they're illegal. So I want them to have a better life in a different country.
Well, you just actually gave me an argument for mass amnesty. If our employers are exploiting them because they're undocumented, therefore, if they're not undocumented, it wouldn't be as easy to exploit them. If 2 + 2 is 4, then 2 - 2 isn't 4, right?
But another solution is just give a lot of these jobs to American residents already and deport everyone.
Oh, well, we already have 8 million open job opportunities right now, so I'm not so sure they'd be able to fill the 8.3 million ones created via mass deportation, but we'd actually lose a lot of those jobs unless Americans would be working, because jobs are created by what? A demand for a good. And undocumented immigrants don't just produce goods, they also demand them because they're members of our market. We remove them from the demand side, and all of a sudden, we have inefficiencies created with the productions of goods because they're less demanded.
Do you know that millions of undocumented immigrants are not working? Yeah.
Yeah, just like there's millions of citizens that aren't working. Also, millions? No.
They have the right to not work because they're citizens.
4.2% of 11 million.
A lot of
There's like half a million undocumented immigrants that are likely unemployed.
And how many are employed?
10,500,000. Well, I guess that's miscalculating. There's around 500,000 of them that are employed, that are unemployed. I don't know if I'd be able to give you a number of those that are. I think there's no. There's 8.3 million that are employed.
I
That's
guess
coming
there's
from the
more
American
employed
Immigration Council.
for sure.
8.3
like-
million that are employed, around 500,000 that are unemployed, and then the rest are elderly or kids.
Without it's just for fairness also. Like illegal immigrations can they use a lot of our public services, like schools.
Yeah, have you been up here before?
Huh?
Have you been up here before?
I think I came but it was months ago.
How many times are you gonna try this?
What?
No, apparently you were on your earlier today.
Really?
And I guess I'll just respond to this most recent claim. You're saying that they drain our resources. So they put in more than they take out. And this is expected because A, they can't file for a tax return, so they pay a higher proportionate effective tax rate. And B, they can't claim any federal benefits and can only claim state benefits in some of our states, not all. Right? So they actually put in more than they take out comparative to that of the average American citizen. Higher effective tax rate and less benefits.
So why do we enforce other laws but not this one? What's the point of the law? The rule of law?
What's the point of the rule of law?
Without borders, a country
Well, remember, we're not having a country about our borders. We're having a conversation about what we should do with the undocumented immigrants that are already in the country. That would be
they got in because of Biden. So.
Okay. Well, another false claim, but I'm not going to let you pivot to that. I think I'm actually going to ask you to respond to my refutation of your point that they drain public resources.
What, that they add more to society?
Yeah, they put more in than they take out. In fact, they do so disproportionately, even compared to citizens, as they pay a higher effective tax rate and qualify for less benefits.
I feel like the trade-off's worse, though.
The trade-off is worse. Expand on what are you saying, and how does it respond to what I said?
Since they're here illegally, and we can and bring drugs and stuff.
Okay. Well, that has nothing to do with how much they pay in taxes or take from social safety nets. But they are 3 times less likely to commit all crimes and 80% of the DRUGS that are brought into the country are brought across by citizens. I'm just gonna go and kick you. It doesn't sound like he wants to have a fluent dialogue on like one specific point, but would rather like pivot. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Hey, Dean. Let me say something. I supported Trump. Like mentally, I can't vote. I come from Germany, and I want to say something. Please, maybe you give me a place for this.
Are you
to say something?
Wait, you said that you come from Germany. Like, are you German or like are you a German immigrant in America?
No, I'm from German. I'm German.
Okay.
I live in Germany.
Yeah.
But
listen.
So
listen, my
please
friend.
listen. Yeah.
I'll give you 25 seconds.
25 seconds. Okay, let me say something. I used to be a supporter of Trump. Mentally, I can vote, but it became increasingly clear to me that this is absolute nonsense. You have almost 12,000 people listening to you here. You should take advantage of that opportunity. I come from Germany, and I have a party here. We have a party here that is structured similarly to the AFD, right? You know this. I'm glad you know this. My warning to all people who vote for Trump in Germany. There was once a painter who made it into politics. This man used the same slogans that Trump is using now, demonizing individual groups of people who are blamed for everything. This painter also changed knowledge, had books banned certain knowledge, and so on. Be warned, this is exactly the same methods Trump used. Anyone can read in history books how it all ended. Conservative politics is not the problem. Racism is the problem, and that's exactly what American experiencing is in its purest form. We in Germany are also well on the way there. Unfortunately, here too, people are being deported at all costs. And it's always the wrong people who are affected, working people who our economy needs.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you for coming up and dropping that truth nuke, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Let's go ahead and recenter around Americans that support Trump, my friends. We dropped the truth nuke, so I'm not mad. But we are going to move on to that next guest now, and I will ask for you guys to very strictly follow the rules from this point forward. What's up? Do you support Trump? Tanya is not here, quite frankly. Goodbye. Moving on to the next guest. Let's go and get that next guest connected, guys. Make sure that if we are in that queue, that we are strictly American adults that are for Trump. Make sure that we are strictly American adults that are for Trump. Pretty please, with a cherry on top. Excuse
Dean!
me. Oh,
Dean! I'm on fucking live with Dean. Oh my god.
Age, please. Oh, well, she actually left on her own. I guess she just wanted to come up here to say, so she could say that she's been up here. Goodbye. Yo, Mr. Misfortune. Thank you for the $10 on Super Chat, saying I've known Trump was bad ever since his first term, and I've loved your content since I first saw you on Surrounded. Well, thank you for being here. Yeah, man, that Surrounded opportunity was great. Really expanded my horizons, and has now let a lot of people into hearing me out for what I have to say. What's up, Nancy? You MAGA? Nancy, you here? Goodbye, Nancy Castro 909. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Follow those rules, my friends. Follow those rules. Yeah, follow them. Follow them. All right, we're gonna get that. Oh, hey, what's up, man? You MAGA? You support Trump?
No, but Cookie Mogs you.
Ah, very nice, my friend. I disagree. We're going to move on to the next guest, Jake. Here we go. We got Jake loading up. His bio says other account got banned. Jake, don't say a slur, please. How old are you?
39.
And that's why your other account got banned. It's not because you're like slurring. It's because you're 13. Yeah, there's age limitations on TikTok, my friend. We're going to move on to the next guest. We got Carly connected right now. Please follow the rules. Hey, let's see here. Nanya, thank you so much for the $20 on Venmo. Saying, Dean, you're an amazing man. I love sitting in and on your TikTok lives and watching you show all the MAGA betas what a real man really looks like. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's go, Nanya. Show some love to Nanya down below. Hey. Listen, if you're watching right now and you're an American man, quote unquote, that supports Trump, you're a beta. Prove me wrong by getting in that queue. Prove me wrong. Prove to me that you're not a beta. Oh,
Okay.
Sarah's back. Hi, how old are you?
Guys,
What?
I'm underage. I'm a minor.
I gotta kick you, Sarah. We're gonna move on to the next guest. Oh goodness, hop in that queue if you're an American adult that supports Trump. Okay. Hey, what's up? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
And what time is it?
It's midnight right now.
Banned. Moving on to the next guest, guys. Moving on to the next guest. We gotta follow those rules, everyone. Yippee! Hey, yo, what's up, Billy? Do you support Trump? No, guess not. Jay, thank you so much for another $50 over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love. I really appreciate you. As well as I just read your message, you and Parker remain heroes of mine as regards the truth and the strength you guys hold and exercise to battle the insane nonsense out there that seems to never abate. Love always. Love to you as well, Jay. You know, me and Parker, we both love you. You're always here. You've been very supportive of us both. You are awesome. Let's get 500 JWs down below. That's very kind of you. That is very kind of you. As well as Jillian. Thank you for the $40 over on PayPal. Jillian says, Dean, you're a king. Thank you for being anti-patriarchal. An anti-patriarchal voice for pro-democracy Americans. Hello? One request, please challenge MAGA on Katie Johnson's testimony. Say her name for all of us that have survived SA as children. Thank you and all that you do. You know what, Jillian? You got it. The next Trump supporter we get up here, I'll bring Katie Johnson alongside other facts surrounding Epstein up. And thank you for the $40. Let's get 400 Jillian W's down below in that comment section. And welcome in, Jada. Do you support Trump?
No, I do not.
All right, Jada, I got to ban you. Goodbye, Jada. We're going to move on to the next guest. Put a MAGA with your age down below in that comment section if you want to come up and debate. Go ahead, do that for me. Go ahead, do that for me. What's up? How old are you?
What do you say when you...
Oh, sorry. I kicked them before they started talking. They just lagged out there at the end. We're going to move on to the next guest, guys. Please, we're just looking for Trump supporters. It honestly doesn't look like we have any in the live right now. I'm going to keep it real. Hey, what's up? Do you support Trump? Hi. You're going to get banned. You're going to get banned in 5 seconds if you don't say you support Trump. And banned. Moving on to the next guest. Where do they all go? They're running away. I guess MAGA is dead. Did we make MAGA go extinct? Did we make them go extinct, chat? Have we won the war? Bjorn, thank you for the $11 on PayPal. Good to see you again. Thank you, Bjorn. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion, but I have questions about it.
How old are you?
18. I just turned 18 today.
Well, happy birthday. Julia, I'm actually going to recommend this to you. Hang out with us in the stream. Hear me out for what I have to say. I think that could be very beneficial to yourself. A lot of value in this stream, of course, boils down to those that I'm debating and like what they could take away from having a conversation to me. But even more value just falls down into like listening to the conversations and hearing what the right has to say about why they're pro-Trump and hearing what I have to say about why I'm anti-Trump and about why they're wrong. And similarly, their take on why I'm wrong. Welcome in. Crisco, are you MAGA? Crisco, 5 seconds until you are BANNED.
What the hell was...
Banned. What does banned mean? What does banned mean? Y'all know what that is a reference to? I know what that's a reference to. He fell off. If you know who that's a reference to, he fell off, guys. Holy shit. He fell off so hard. Josh Block. He fell off so fucking hard. Listen, man, I've been watching Josh since he was 20. I remember his 21st birthday. Ever since then, been downhill. Thank you for the dragon. I appreciate that for you. He's been going downhill. very fast for so long.
So, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, Chris? You support Trump?
I'm from Italy, actually. So,
Chris, I gotta ban you, my friend. I'm sorry. It's not your fault, though. You didn't know the rules. I'm gonna go and actually put the rules up on the screen, guys. Take a good look at the rules. Right there. Only join if you're 18 plus American MAGA and ready to debate. Only join if you're 18 plus American MAGA and ready to debate. We got W Toombs loading up into the stream. Here we go. Oh, I just got an email back about the PayPal account. Sure. Hey, what's up? Do you support Trump? Nope, they're gone. Moving on to the next guest. Okay, I just got another email back from PayPal. By the way, I haven't been able to like use my PayPal account in like a week. But anyways, PayPal just said, at this time, how do you turn your camera on?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm going to kick you. I'm not sure that I want you to do that. Moving on to the next guest. Let's go and get Carter Smith up in here. They said at this time, you are able to receive payments, but cannot withdraw or send money. I assure you the appropriate teams have been engaged to resolve this issue. Unfortunately, I cannot provide an exact time frame. However, we are monitoring and will communicate any updates. From PayPal 3 seconds ago. They've had the account locked down for like the last 2 weeks now. Let's go to move on to the next guest, guys. Go and put a MAGA with your age down below in that chat if you'd like to come up and join. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Specifically, but I disagree with you on immigration policy. Can you
Okay.
talk about that?
Yeah, honestly, dude, if you want to come back up after, we could find a Trump supporter, I'll debate you on immigration policy. I have actually had some pretty productive dialogues with Dims that disagree with mass amnesty. I'm with it. But you're banned because you're breaking the rules. What's up, Jacob? Are you following the rules?
Sub D, hell yeah, I am.
Okay, how old are you?
21, my bad. I swear to God, I'm not joking.
I believe you. I've just, what a big mental jump between 18 and 21.
Dude, holy shit, I can't believe I'm on your live right now.
So, I know, crazy, right? So you support Trump?
I support some of his stuff.
Overall, if you could teleport back to November, who would you be voting?
No, I should probably get out of here, Dean. I just wanted to come up, and that's crazy. You let me on. Appreciate it, bro.
Okay, guys, listen. I understand. It can be like pretty exciting to like get up on the live, and I'm not discounting that at all. Okay, I'm not discounting that at all. But please, although it sounds really nice and exciting to get up on the live, and it sounds attainable, since I'm like pulling people up like every second right now from the queue. Only join the queue if you support Trump, please. Let's go and get that next guest up in here. What's going on? Are you MAGA? Steve-O? Steve-O's not here. Steve-O is not here. We're dealing with a bunch of rule breakers today. We're dealing with a bunch of rule breakers, chat. So many rule breakers. Can we get an L rule breaker in that comment section for everybody that is coming to the live in a belligerent disobedience to the rules that are right in front of their eyeballs right now as we talk, as I'm talking to you? Take a good look at them. Got to be 18 plus American MAGA and ready to debate. What's up? You MAGA? Nope, they're already gone. Take care. Moving on to the next guest. Hey, by the way, is there anybody in here who's like not pro-Trump but hates me? maybe I should like bring a handful of people like that up. I've seen a lot of like people that are like, oh, I don't like Trump, but I really don't like.
Oh my God, I got on the live.
What's up? Do you support Trump?
No.
Bro, banned. Yeah, maybe we should do somebody like that. Okay, yo, let me know if you're like watching the live right now and you're not pro-Trump, but you don't like me. Okay, put a me in the comment section if that's you. There's a lot of people like that on the internet. I'd say more people than not just don't like political debates. You know that? They just don't like them. Let's try to get somebody up that's in that group. Okay. We got one. Oh, they left. Unfortunate. All right. We're going to try to move on to the next guest right now. Let me try to pull one of these people up from the comment section, though. Here we got Mr. Worldwide. I invited you. I'd love to chat. Oh, man. All right. Okay, it doesn't look like they're joining. Come on, guys. If you're going to put a me down below in that comment section, you got to be willing to come up here and give me a piece of your mind. We got Tide Whisker loading in. Okay. All right, they left too. Push is coming to shove for a lot of these people, and they don't want to come up here and have a conversation. Hey, what's up? So you don't like Trump.
Yo, what's up?
So you don't like Trump, but you don't like me.
I don't like you, or I like Trump. I don't like you, bro.
Okay, well, duh, you're not going to like me if you like the orange fascists. I was specifically asking for people that don't like Trump, but don't like me. I feel like that would be more interesting. You know?
Yeah,
like
I support Trump.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah.
You like me.
I don't fucking like you, bro.
I know that you like me because you've been trolling me for like a year and a half. You're in here every day.
Wait, what? How do you know? How do I know that? Because of how many times you've trolled me. I very distinctively remember your voice. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Hi, no, I just, I don't like you very much. Sorry.
Does it have something to do with the flag in your name?
No, it has to do with the fact that actually I'm very left and liberal. It has to do with the fact that I think sometimes you're a bit too harsh on people and you mock people. And I very much value your voice. And I think what you do is very important. And I'm sorry, English is not my first language. But I think sometimes you can use tactics that can be a bit hurtful to some people.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ. I'm supposed to be putting up with this bullshit. I'm just kidding. See, I was doing a joke. You're telling me that I was too harsh on people. So then I was like jokingly too harsh on you. Hey, Dana, I appreciate you so much for the input. How about that? Also, one recommendation. I'd take a look into what the state of Israel's doing. I'd take a look into what the state of Israel's doing, Dana. I see them in your name. I want to be repping them. I want to be repping a genocidal country. Just saying, Jada. But we're going to move on to the next guest. We're going to get that next guest loaded up in here right now, quite frankly. Okay. I don't know. I feel like I've been a little bit nicer and more like chilled in recent time. I feel like the longer we've been doing this, the more chill I get, just because the more desensitized I've become to this shit. What's up, Robo? You support Trump?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right, guys. We're gonna switch back to specifically talking to Trump supporters. I'd appreciate it if you guys would respect that. Thank you so much. What's up, you MAGA? No, they're not MAGA. We're gonna move on to the next guest. All right, we're gonna get Florence up in here. What's up, you MAGA?
Hi. Sorry, it was the not liking you.
Oh.
And it's not because I don't like you, it's because I love you, Dean. Thank you for doing everything you do.
Good one. Very good one. I appreciate you for your support. That's very kind of you, Florence, and I hope that you have a good rest of your day. We're going to move on to the next guest. Hey, Ryan and Addison. Holy shit. Thank you both for the $100 over on Venmo. $100 from...
Holy.
Sorry, one
Dean,
second. Hey, one
Dean,
sec.
I don't hate Trump. I love you, though. You're the fucking goat.
I appreciate that, G-Money. You have a good rest of your day. But Ryan and Addison with $100 on Venmo, they say, from Addison and Ryan, thank you for schooling these MAGA minds. Thank you so much, you two. If everybody watching can show some love to Ryan and Addison down below in that chat while we're looking for that next Trump supporter, it would mean a lot to me. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you both so very, very much. Thank you, Ryan and Addison. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Kind of. I'm the one that said I voted for him, and I'm not very content with.
Oh, you've been up here before?
No, I'm the one that sent that $10 dono. Name's Christian.
Okay. All right. So here's the deal. If you want to try to give me an argument for why you support Trump, I would be more than willing to hear it out and engage with you in it. However, right, if you're more so at a place where you voted for him, but you're not content and you're just looking to learn more, then I would honestly just say that watching this stream is probably a better resource for you if you can't like give me like a pro-Trump argument, you know?
Okay, yeah, I mean, I understand. I've been watching, I'd say about the last hour. I don't know. I'm in a tight spot where I don't know what side to pick, and I want to be educated.
You know what? Ask a question. We don't have anybody else. Ask a question. Go for it.
Okay. I guess my question would be most likely on borders. Because I'm not really too sure, like, kind of how to, like, I don't know what side to pick for that, like the pros and cons of it.
You know what? Instead of giving you like a resource by having a conversation with you on live, I'm going to give you an even better resource, because I took basically all my thoughts on what Donald Trump is doing with the border, what has caused the issues, and what a better what a better response to these things would be, and I made it into a TikTok video. So if you go to my page and you scroll down it, I don't have too many videos, I post pretty infrequently, and you find this video. It says America needs to change and here's why. It is a 5.5 minute explainer video on why I disagree with the Trump administration surrounding their border policy, surrounding mass deportation, nearly every single reason why, and what I think would be better and why. So it's on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's on the 11th row, not including pins, and I would highly suggest that you go watch that video. And if you have any other questions, feel free to come back and ask.
Okay, yes, I will definitely watch that video right when I get off, but I do have one other question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I live about 30 minutes from Baltimore, and I saw this morning a video of Trump talking about sending people into Chicago, and Baltimore will probably be next after that, following what he just did in DC.
Right. He also said that Baltimore was the least safe place on planet Earth.
Yes, I did see that, and I'm not really sure exactly how to feel about that, because it's obviously my city. Like, Baltimore is the city that I go to. I'm 30 minutes from there, and I'm definitely very against that, especially with the homeless people. And I don't know. I would like you to enlighten me on this situation and how I should feel about it.
Well, listen, here's my thoughts on Donald Trump, like deploying the National Guard to all these cities everywhere. So, like, first and foremost, I don't think that Donald Trump actually cares about crime. Why? He pardoned 1,600 criminals that launched an insurrection on our Capitol on January 6th, including 77 of them who attempted to either beat up or kill cops. Okay? If you are willing to let 77 attempted cop killers go, if you're willing to let them out of jail and label them as patriots, you don't care about crime. So the next step would be, well, if Donald Trump doesn't care about crime, then why is he doing this? Maybe it's just because he wants to exert power and control in any way that he can, and militarizing, our cities is definitely one way to do it. And he's been able to find a twist to attempt to justify it, of saying that he's attacking crime, when in all reality, he's just being a wannabe dictator and wasting our goddamn money. So there's one way to think about it. I appreciate you for coming up and asking your questions, and I hope that you have a good rest of your day.
I appreciate it. You too.
Yeah. And I also don't think that Donald Trump cares about crime too much in general for other reasons, like the fact that a lot of crime is consequential of poverty. And not only does he not care about poverty, but he's increasing poverty and making the material conditions amongst low-income Americans worse by defunding social safety nets like Medicaid, food stamps, or disproportionately taxing poor people through tariffs. So, a couple thoughts there. Let's go to get that next guest up in here. What's up? Are you MAGA? Yeah, and my two explanations insofar as why he doesn't care about crime didn't include his 34 felonies, by the way. All right, TikTok Crime Time's not here. We're going to move on to the next guest. Make sure if you're in that queue, it's because you support Trump. We haven't been able to find a guest here in around an hour. I will please ask you guys to follow the rules. Pretty please. And then also, Arabella, thank you for the $10, saying, hey, Dean, I'm the only liberal in my MAGA family, and I wanted to ask how I can maybe convince them to stop supporting the orange fascist wannabe dictator in office. I love what you do. It can be a sensitive topic, and it depends a lot on how far your parents are gone into the MAGA cult. You should give me some more specifics. I might be able to give you a better answer. And when I say more specifics, like where are they at? How pro-Trump are they? and I might be able to help. What's up, Scoop? Do you support Trump?
I do. What's going on, Dean? We were speaking yesterday when the internet crashed on us.
Oh, you were the guest I had up when the internet crashed. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I was telling you that I support Trump because he's a disruptor. Because I support the fact that he's willing to really aim to change our system of a government. We were talking about how he fires a lot of people, and I love that about him.
Okay, I do remember you. Here, quickly before we hop back into the debate, I just want to go and thank somebody real quick. Patty, thank you so much for the $50 donation on PayPal. That is so incredibly kind of you. Oh, Patty. So Patty donated $50 on PayPal maybe like 10 or so minutes ago, and I haven't gone around to it yet. And I just saw like an email I got from Patty, just ensuring that it went to the right place. Yes, Patty, I did get your $50, and thank you so much. Let's show some extra love to Patty down below. Patty says, can you and I agree on the simple fact that MAGAs are from a whole other level of idiocy? For my birthday, it makes me wonder who it was that I had as friends before the orange imbecile. Take care, and thank you for everything that you do. I owe you. No, Patty, thank you so much for the love. And yeah, Donald Trump has ushered in a new wave of anti-intellectualism and idiocracy into America. It's so sad to see loved ones, friends, and family members get lost to this terrible, terrible cult. Show some love to Patty down below. Yeah, you're the man that wants to like reset America like an Xbox, right?
Yeah, well, you put it like that, but I can't see how it would be done so simple.
Well,
But,
exactly. The point is it's not simple. You can't just like reset America. It's kind of a weird way of thinking. So okay, I guess it's been like an hour since we've last talked. Repeat the argument. Why do you support Trump?
Well, I like that he's a disruptor.
Okay, when you say disruptor, what do you mean?
Well, let's look back into the very beginning when Trump first started talking about being president. I remember the whole country was fucking laughing at him.
Okay, so everyone was laughing at Trump because he's a clown.
That's how it was in the very beginning. And he kind of stole Bernie Sanders' thunder with the angle of we're gonna reform government. You remember he was talking about all that. He kind of stealing what Bernie Sanders was talking about. Well, I really love
drain
that
the
about
swamp. Okay, well, see, he's not actually doing that though, because like the reform in the government that he's always like talked about and ran on is like draining the swamp, like eradicating the deep state, and like making America prosper. Well, he is the swamp, sir, and he ran on this to attempt to get your vote and concealing the fact that he is the corruption, he is the swamp, he is the problem. All right, this is a man that holds no respect for our courts. Every single court that has ever ruled against him is apparently ran by woke liberals, according to him. This is a man that has been found guilty of 34 felonies. This is a man that tried to rig the presidential election in 2020 with his fake electors plot. Okay? This is not a man that is draining the corruption out of DC. This is not a man who's getting rid of the swamp or dismantling the deep state. And honestly, the man or woman who will inevitably do that would be true, good, honest, would probably run on policy to criminalize individual stock trading for our congressmen and women, would run on policy to ban lobbying, would run on policy to get rid of dark money and super PACs. And these are none of the things that Donald Trump is doing.
But do you agree that he's a disruptor?
He's a disruptor in a very bad way, possibly in the worst way.
But can't you see that this country is in desperate need of somebody to? All right, so a reporter had asked Lincoln when he had first issued Grant to be the standing general of the Union Army, and the reporter says, "How can you have this drunkard, womanizing monster as your top dog?" And Lincoln's answer to him was, "I cannot spare this man. I have no need for a soft tongue and a smooth man." What he meant was that's how I feel about Trump. We don't need a soft man, a smooth talker. Obama was smooth. Clinton was smooth. I mean, George W., he was a bum, but that's neither here nor there. But you understand what I mean? A president's supposed to be a president, somebody smooth and that can work with everybody. But I voted for him because I wanted him to come in there and just start rattling everybody's cage, and the Republicans did not
How about
like
this?
it.
How about this? Okay, I agree that some systems of our government need to be disrupted. Some cages in the government should be rattled. However, he is not rattling those that need to be rattled. Instead, he is rattling those that don't need to be rattled. We do not need to be rattling Medicaid, defunding it by $900 billion, and kicking low-income Americans off of their health care. We do need to be rattling, lobbying an AI PAC to shift the overall governmental support for the state of Israel. We don't need to be rattling food stamps and making 3 million low-income Americans starve because of new provisions under the Big Beautiful Bill. We do need to be rattling individual stock trading amongst our representatives. We don't need to be rattling tax policy, taking money from the poor and giving it to the rich and spending $4.5 trillion in the process. But we do need to be rattling this new wave of anti-intellectualism and push for an upholding of critical thought and a rejection of baseless claims to further any particular political narrative or agenda. Right? So do we see here how he's rattling all the wrong cages?
Well, let's go back to the cage you were speaking of about the Medicare. Can you concede to the fact that there's a large portion of our Medicaid funding that is allocated to misallocated?
No, I won't concede to that.
You won't. You don't feel like the medical community will go into big pharma.
Medicaid's actually better than private health insurance.
Hear me out, Dean. Hear me out. These lobbyists, they push a tremendous amount of funding, and in exchange for that, the government has set up a system that empowers them. It pays them. The system pays them. And our
actually, Medicaid, it's
we
interesting.
pay more than anybody else in the whole world, Dean. The whole world. Nobody pays like the American people do for medical health.
Did you know that actually Americans with private health insurance, like their private health insurers, pay up to 200% more than what individuals on Medicaid pay?
That's absolutely right. I mean, I don't know the exact stats like you would know. You're a smart kid. You're real sharp. You're on top of this stuff. But I do know.
All that I'm saying is that Medicaid is like surprisingly efficient, more efficient than private health insurance.
But it's one of the biggest expenses on the American ticket.
Not because it's inefficient, but rather because there's a lot of people that need it.
And I'm here to say that these are a large portion of these people can find a way to. The goal is not to take away the Medicaid for people. The goal is to take down the cost of medical care.
So then, why did he kick 10 million people off?
Because if you reduce that number of what we're willing to spend in our medical, it forces the medical conglomerates to lower the price of what they're charging an American for the service.
No. So it actually just forced 10 million people off the services, point blank, period. My evidence is projections from the CBO.
How much did, I don't know, pick a pharmaceutical company. I don't know a specific pharmaceutical company, but pick one of them, any one of them.
Can you
Pfizer.
respond to what I just said? So I know that like his reduction in the cost of Medicaid isn't going to just drive the price of pharmaceuticals down, and instead it's just going to kick people off because that's what the CBO reports. That's what not if it's just kicking people off.
Well, it has to drive them down because these conglomerates are earning less.
My friend, the demand of healthcare is inelastic, right? We understand that, right? So, and because the demand of healthcare is inelastic, the equilibrium price isn't going to be like super determined by like a reduction of forceful demand through kicking people off the services, because they still know everybody that's still on them will still pay the same price they did before, right? And that reduction in demand isn't seen because the prices are too high, but rather that reduction in demand is seen because, well, we're kicking 10 million people off it. So the restructuring in healthcare. So basically, all that I'm saying is that Donald Trump's big beautiful bill defunding Medicaid by $900 billion and kicking 10 million people off, in my mind, wouldn't incentivize a reduction in the price of pharmaceuticals, because the price of the pharmaceuticals wasn't the issue that led to 10 million less demanders of healthcare. but rather the issue that led to 10 million less demanders of healthcare was literally the fact that their services were cut by the Trump administration on the federal level.
Right. And you don't feel like Pfizer's going to miss that 10 million people that aren't going to the doctor now?
Pfizer's going to miss them, therefore they're going to reduce their prices?
That's right.
I just think it's unrealistic to expect that Pfizer would be able to realistically reduce their prices to a point where even low-income Americans could pay for them out of pocket with no health insurance.
They can, and they're going to. You watch and see. They're going to.
Okay, you're delusional. If you legitimately think that major pharmaceutical companies are going to respond to Donald Trump's big beautiful bill, taking healthcare away from 10 million low-income Americans by reducing their prices to the consumer to the point where you don't even need health insurance, period.
What they're going to respond to is that, let's say the average person is saying, let's get a number, say $5,000.
You understand? Your argument is literally that pharmaceuticals are going to reduce their prices to an extent where healthcare isn't required. like going to the doctors and getting some pharmaceutical is going to cost as much as like going to the gas station and getting a candy bar. That's not realistic. But you know what is realistic is that people are going to die because they no longer have Medicaid under the big beautiful bill.
Sorry, I hit a wrong button, I guess. Anyway, I view it differently, Dean. All I'm saying is I view it differently. I view this as an attack on the super PACs.
Okay. You have a good rest of your day, my friend. We're going to move on. That was just incredibly unrealistic. No, so his argument was that because so many people are being kicked off, like big pharmaceutical companies are going to respond and they're going to be like, oh, we want their business. But you understand, in order to get the business again of the 10 million low-income Americans that were kicked off of Medicaid, they'd have to reduce their prices to a level that would be affordable by an uninsured American in poverty. like what? No. Healthcare will not be affordable enough for a uninsured American in poverty to pay for out of pocket ever, right? So we're gonna move on to the next guest. Here we go. It's gonna get Ken up here. Let's see here. Hey, Lauren, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Saying, if anything, those that pay privately will pay more to make up for the reduction in profits. Yup. Matthew with the $10 says, if somebody like why not someone like Ron Paul if you want more conservative disruptors with moral conviction? I don't think he cares about moral conviction. And then Kristen, thank you for the $25, saying people are trolling your feed, inviting people against Trump, then refusing to debate and calling them names. Oh, there's a second part of that donation. See, I was confused. Adding would love to give you debate suggestions from somebody who's done it in their 40s. Sure, what do you got, Christian? As well as Grace, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Grace says, we either pay for preventative healthcare and meds when it is still in the early stages, or we pay their ICU bill in emergency rooms. Yeah, no, exactly. That is also a good point. We take people's healthcare away. We actually spend more on uninsured people's access to emergency rooms. What's up, Kenna? Do you support Trump?
Oh God, I didn't mean to join.
No worries at all. Yeah, emergency room resources are so expensive, you guys. And I'll give you a little bit of evidence. So for me, my copay for seeing a primary physician is $25, okay? Now, what do you think my copay is for the emergency room? Take a guess. Primary physician, $25. What do you think my copay is for the emergency room? A lot of you guys are right. $500, right? Emergency healthcare resources are extensively more expensive than primary physicians or preventative healthcare. What's up? Do you support Trump, Andrew?
Yes.
All right. How old are you?
I'm 19.
Okay. And why do you support Trump?
Actually, I wanted to ask you a question because I know you always ask the questions to us. So I saw a video, I don't know how long ago it was, but I remember you said that you used to be conservative and all your family was conservative or something.
So true.
So why did you change from that? I just wanted to hear your side on that.
An exploration of reason. I think before I super liberal and rather conservative, I didn't explore politics with reason. I explored politics with tribalism, association with others for social reasons and emotions, right? But then when I introduce like an exploration of reason, reshifting the lens in which I evaluate not just politics, but the world around me away from what will be the most conducive towards a higher quality of life for myself, since I'll be accepted as an in-group in a very like socially conservative area and family, to like rather testing the validity of these structures, concepts, ideas, policy, etc., on logic and rationale, I found that reality and logic and rationale have a left-leaning bias within the current American political system, which is something I would definitely prescribe to you. Apparently everyone in the chat saying he's 2009. What a good question from a 14-year-old. Or I guess, geez, 2009. That's like 15 or 16. What a good question from like a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old. We're going to move on to the next guest, guys. Let's go to get them up here. We got Eric connecting. Wow. I'm impressed. I'm genuinely impressed. What a good question from somebody so young. All right. Yeah, you got to be at least 18 to join, though. Eric's not loading in. We're going to move on to the next guest. Okay, I don't really see like anybody in the live that's like pro-Trump. Susie, welcome back.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for being here again. It's a pleasure.
Are you still dreaming about Trump?
Maybe sometimes. I mean, it's not like, I am dreaming. I'm just watching sometimes. Yeah, I'm watching.
So Susie, do you like Trump?
I don't know him personally, so.
Susie, why do you watch my lives? I'm curious. What about my lives draws you in? Every day you're in the queue.
Yeah, and it's like since not so long because on TikTok there was like lives and I was scrolling, and there was another after another and they were popping out. Everybody was having the same question and you honestly like looked the best of them, so that's why.
Looked the best. Okay, Susie. Well, I appreciate you, Susie. As always, Susie, I gotta kick you, right? You know the rules. I know you do. I know you know the rules. I know you know the rules, Susie, but I hope you have a good rest of your day. Susie, she's been up in here a couple times. Welcome in. What's up, Jude? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do, but
you sound 14. Unfortunately, got to remove you. Hey, Sophia, thank you for the $15 over on Venmo. Saying I really appreciate what you do. Well, thank you for being here, Sophia, and thank you for the $5 donation. Let's go to move on to the next guest. What's up? Do you support Trump?
I used to, but you actually helped me no longer support him. In fact, when I was supporting him, I was under the influence, and you also encouraged me to get clean. I'm actually in my second week of being clean. It's really, really hard. I'm actually in the hospital right now to help with like the withdrawals, but other than that, it's been really hard for me.
Erica, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Do you have children?
I do, and that's why I'm getting clean for. So.
Erica,
I don't want you to see me go through it, and mine was for. I don't know if I'm about to say it here.
Do you mind if I ask you real quick? How old are your children?
So my oldest is 7. Aurora is 7.
Yeah.
My kids, I gave birth to my kids back to back, and I was actually using still during those times. I'm very ashamed of myself, which is why I have help now. In fact, Protective Services is helping me too.
I want to share something with you real quick before I move on. So growing up, my mother was using, and the impacts that had on me in my life, and the life of my sister, my family as a whole, is something I will never, ever, ever forget. But she got clean, And today, so many years later, my mom is back to work. My mom is back to living her best life. Right now, she's like traveling around the country after like literally being homeless a couple years ago. And it all started because she went to rehab. And it means so much to me that my mom was willing to do that. And she did it for me, and she did it for my siblings. And now, so many years later, I love her so much to bits and pieces, and she's just such a good mom. But the impact that usage had on her and her relationship with me and my sister when we were younger was very bad. So just know, I am like personally so proud of you. I swear to God, if you stick with it, you will look back on it as the best decision of your life ever. And your kids will thank you for the rest of their lives too. And I'm really proud of you. Same thing with the rest of the people watching the stream. And I mean that so very, very seriously.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Of course. You have a good rest of your day. You have a good rest of your day. You have a good rest of your day, Erica. Oh, man. Sorry, that made me a little bit emotional. Yeah, very personal. Very personal. Very personal experiences of mine that align with some of the things that Erica just shared with us. It is very good decision she's making. Very good decision. What's up? Do you support Trump? John, are you here? John's not here. We're going to move on to the next guest. Good for her, too. She said that she was doing it for her kids, as she should. Because the impact it can have on children is something that no child deserves to go through. And most parents in her shoes won't ever do it. I'm really proud of her doing it. I'm really proud of her doing that. And I'm going to be honest, guys. A lot of people need that extra motivation. And I'm just proud of her for taking advantage of that. It'll be so good for her. It'll be so good for her family. It'll be so good for her kids. Erica, if you're still in here, I bet you're still listening. The one thing I'm envisioning in my head right now is how you're going to look back on the decision that you made a week ago, like 5 years from now. And you're going to be like, holy shit, that was one of the hardest things I've done in my life. But undeniably, the second best thing you've ever done in your life after giving birth to your children. What's up, Cody? Do you support Trump? All right. Cody's not here. After having your kids. And I know it would come second to having your kids because of how important they truly have to be to you for them to be the reason that you're getting clean. What's up, Emily? Do you support Trump? Okay, Emily's not here. Okay, one last thought. And then I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm going on and on about it. One last thought. If you do go through with it and you stay on that path, your children will know that you love them until the day they die. Until they, like, forever. I'm dead ass. Like, since my mom got cleaned, I have known that she loves me unconditionally. And I've never doubted my mother's love for me after she got clean, because she did that for me and my siblings. And for her to like undergo that for me and my siblings was very important. Anyways, what's up, Daniel? I'll stop talking about that. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Hey, sorry. Nope.
Okay, you don't, unfortunately. I'm going to have to move on to the next guest. Here we go. All right, moving on to the next guest, guys. Let's go to get Ozzy loaded up in here. What's up? Do you support Trump? Ozzy, hello? Okay, you're not here. We're going to move on. Let's going to get that next guest up in here.
Guys, we're going to try a couple more times. So right now we've been live for 3 hours and 40 minutes. We haven't had a debate for the last hour or so. We're going to try with like a couple more guests. And unfortunately, then we're going to get off for the night. Not only because I'm kind of done looking for people, but also because we're about up. We're about up. What's up? Do you support Trump? Oh, they're not here. All right, moving on. Just going to get that next guest up in here. We got Big Bane 1 loading in.
Yo.
What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Okay. How old are you?
18.
What year were you born in?
2007 in September.
Oh, shit. So you like literally just turned 18.
Yeah, on the 1st.
Oh.
On the 1st, yeah.
Same birthday as me. Okay. Yeah, quickly before we hop into the debate here, let me thank somebody. Mary, thank you so much for the $100 donation over on Venmo. That is so incredibly kind of you, Mary. Let's get 1,000 Mary W's down below in that comment section. Mary with $100 says, preventing illness reduces healthcare spending, but it will never happen because the insurance companies make more money if people are chronically ill and they own the members of government. Yup, that is one of the many reasons we got to get rid of lobbying. 110% rid of individual stock trading. Spot on, Mary. Appreciate you for being here and thank you for the $100. Yeah, the guest actually just left while I was thanking Mary. Impatient. Very impatient. Thank you, Mary. As well as Melissa. Thank you for the $20. Melissa says, I go to rehab for the first time on Friday. I listen to you all the time, but this was no different. I was supposed to be here to know I need to walk through those doors no matter how hard it'll be. Thank you. Melissa, the fact that you acknowledge that demonstrates that it is your decision, and you making that decision will make all the difference. It truly will. It truly will. That acknowledgement right there is what will inevitably make all the difference, Melissa. And I'm really proud of you too. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Jeez. Yeah. You know, that's something that I don't talk about on here because, you know, we do like political debate lives and whatnot, but addiction is just such a scary thing. Addiction is so scary. It is so scary. And the impact
Is that a vape, Dean? Is that a vape, Dean?
How old are you?
No, I don't know. See, just that.
Right. Addiction is such a scary thing, and the impact that it can have on you and those around you is also terrifying. You know, I've actually, fun fact about me, I have never taken an O drug, if you know what I'm talking about, for anything ever. Never taken an O drug. When I disintegrated the tip of my finger over here, well, sorry for flipping you off, it just happens to literally be my middle finger. My aftercare for helping to deal with the pain was literally Advil and Tylenol. Yeah, it's the OPIOD. I've never taken any of those for anything ever. Like rooted within fear of addiction. You know, from what I saw with my mom growing up. It's a real scary thing, guys. We're gonna try with one last guess here. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do.
How old are you?
19.
Okay, what year were you born in?
05.
Okay. All right, awesome. Can you disconnect any and all Bluetooth devices that you have connected to your phone? He just left. Why is everyone just leaving today? Is it something I'm doing? I think it's something I'm doing. Okay. All right. Let me think. I hate milk. Thank you for the $25 on Super Chat saying, love you. So true. Nothing is more rewarding than sobriety and working on yourself for you and those you love. I could imagine. Thank you for the $25. As well as AKU with the $10 saying, hey, Dean, your birthday is especially important to be as you share the same B-day as my best friend who went missing 5 years ago. Happy belated birthday. I'm really sorry that they went missing. Jeez. I can't even imagine how hard that must be. It's really sad. I'm sorry to hear that. And thank you for the $10 as well as the belated birthday wishes. And I mean, belated birthday to them too. As well as Julia, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much for the love, Julia. Julia says, everyone on my dad's side has addiction, so I'm afraid to try alcohol. Does anyone else have this fear? Hope I'm not crazy. I'd say be careful with it. Be really careful with it. You know, alcohol is like socially conditioned as something that's like super acceptable and permissible and fun. And, you know, I'd be a hypocrite if, you know, I haven't been pushing some of that maybe too surrounding like the 21st birthday. I was like talking about how great it, like I'm going to drink so much. And I did. I definitely did. And I do drink. I do. But, you know, it is a tool or it is a thing that can cause such a bad dependency, early death, and terrible, terrible addiction. Alcoholism is one of the leading causes of pain, misery, and death in this country. It's not the leading, it's one of the leading. So it's a very valid fear to have. Very valid fear to have. But what I would say is if you do drink, especially considering the fact that you have family with a history of addiction, to do it in moderation. Like for instance, don't get to a point where you're drinking every day. If you have family with a history of addiction, don't drink every day, right? You know, like a lot of people will do like a nightly beer after they get off work, or like a nightly drink before they go to bed. Don't do that if you have a family that struggles with addiction. That's what I'd recommend. That'll definitely reduce your potentiality of developing a reliance. Okay, everyone. Interesting chat there at the end. We are going to go ahead and end for the day. I appreciate you guys so much for pulling through. We had an okay day today. I didn't freak out and explode on any guests. It was pretty chill. I also just appreciate everyone so much for joining. Oh man, you know, I appreciate everyone so much that's been tuning in, not just today, but for the last couple of years while we've been building this community and having these conversations. I love you guys to bits and pieces. And I'm very thankful that you guys have given me a platform to, you know, speak about how I feel about so many different things. It's very vindicating. It's very vindicating for me. To be able to speak about how I feel and what I think is right and wrong to so many people. It really helps satisfy this urge of mine just to try to get that record straight. You know what I mean? I am going to go to an end though. I will see you all tomorrow. I'm going to go and head off to the gym. I love you all. And Parker should be on soon. I'm surprised he's not on already, if I'm going to be honest. So if you still want some debates, make sure to maybe go follow up with Mr. Parker Get a Job. I'm sure he'll be on. But I'm going to go ahead and get off. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening. Peace and love, guys, and good night.